Today at historic Oakmont, Paula Creamer, at the age of 23, looks to win her sport's biggest championship. Her latest run to a U.S. Women's Open title has come just 3.5 months after thumb surgery threatened her career. Playing with pain and a heavily taped bandage, she hopes to erase bitter disappointments in this championship the last 2 years, which have only fueled her desire to finally finish one off. Already the fan favorite on tour, a win today would give her her first major championship and the satisfaction of joining the game's all-time greats who have triumphed at Oakmont. And Creamer and much of the field had to finish their third rounds this morning because of weather here on Friday, which backed things up. This was Paula's second shot to the difficult finishing hole here, the par 4 18th earlier this morning. Creamer, the 36-hole leader, would have a rare chance at birdie to increase her lead after 3 rounds, and this would be a key putt since she had missed shortish putts on the previous 2 holes. But not this time, just the 5th birdie of the third round, a third round 70 for Paula. She had a 3-shot, 54-hole lead over Wendy Ward, who she is playing with in this final round. And while Ward was making a triple bogey at the first, this was a par save for Paula at the first to stay at 1 under. Suzann Pettersen, the number 4 ranked player in the world, off the tee at the short par 4 second. Reachable with a drive here for Pettersen, who began the day 4 back at Creamer. And rolling it up to within eagle range. She would 2-putt from there for birdie, and Pettersen was on the move at +2 to pull within 3. And then Creamer at the par 5/4. Her first bogey, and the lead was trimmed to 2. But right back at the par 4 5th for birdie. Beautifully judged, back to -1, and the lead was again 3. But 22-year-old Na Yun Choi of South Korea began the day 7 back and is put on a charge here at Oakmont after birdies earlier at the 4th, 6th, and 7th. This was her second shot at the par 5 9th. Coming back closer to the hole with an eagle range. And so Choi had this putt for a front 9, 5 under, 31. And that got her within 2 of Creamer. So Na Yun Choi on the charge, and Pettersen continuing her charge at the 7th for birdie. And Pettersen was back within 2, but she just did bogey the 8th to fall to +2, and Creamer in the meantime, after a poor tee shot at the 6th, running that in for a par save to stay at -1. And then after another poor tee shot at the long par 3/8, another par save for Creamer. So maybe it is finally her time, as she stayed at 1 under and a 2-shot lead in the final round of the U.S. Women's Open. NBC Sports and the United States Golf Association are proud to present a national championship. Today it's live final round coverage of the 65th United States Women's Open. Championship Sunday at Oakmont Country Club just outside Pittsburgh, where later today another player will join the rich history here at Oakmont, where they have been holding championships for nearly a century. 8 U.S. Opens in all among the 15 USGA events here. And for the second time, a Women's Open champion will be crowned here on one of the most difficult and challenging venues in the game. A most appropriate setting to decide the greatest title in women's golf. And that title thus far has eluded 23-year-old Paula Creamer, who will turn 24 years old next month. 8 LPGA Tour wins, but looking for that first major title. 2-shot lead over Na Yun Choi, who's put on the biggest charge of anybody today with that front side 31 within a couple. Then you got Pettersen 3 back. Brittany Lang, the runner-up back in 2005 as an amateur. Now a bit of a seasoned pro looking for her first win of any kind. Christina Kim at +5, 6 back, and Christy Kerr, the champion from 2007, just hasn't been able to put together enough good holes to make a run on the leader. Paula Creamer, who's on the tee at the par 5 9th, and Gary Koch with a call out there. Gary.
Well, Paula playing to this blind landing area. Fairway some 37 feet above the level of the teeing ground, so players can't see where the ball lands, but that's an excellent tee shot up the extreme right-hand side of the fairway as we move ahead to 12. Third shot for Na Yoon Choi.
And from 133 yards, Gary, green that slopes away from the players, tough to judge the approach.
Well, she carries it all the way to the hole, and it will release. The good news is it leaves an uphill putt here at the par 5. Chance for yet another birdie. And back at the 9th, this just a moment ago, Suzann Pettersen hit the green in 2, raced her eagle opportunity well by the hole. And another short miss. That is 4 putts on the front 9. Short putts that Pettersen has missed. Now live, Lexi Thompson, the 15-year-old, for her birdie. Driver 7-iron to this par 5. And a good 2-putt moves her to 4 over par, where she started this final round. And we'll go up to the 18th tower.
All right, Gary, thank you very much. Oakmont Country Club, a magical place, and could have great significance for one Paula Creamer if she's able to hang on here with Johnny Miller and Dottie Pepper. And Johnny, of course, the exploits by you back in 1973 with that final round 63. Looking like perhaps Na Yoon Choi might make a run at it. But let's talk about the difference between the first 3 rounds in a championship of this magnitude and the final round here. We talked about it at the Men's U.S. Open at Pebble Beach. It's just a totally different story with what's at stake here, especially since there's no doubt that there's no bigger title in the game in women's golf than this.
I totally agree. You know, the players were nervous even in practice rounds here, and playing the Women's Open at Oakmont is sort of the ultimate test for anybody, and especially for the women. And you know, the course has been playing really hard. 76.8 has been the scoring average. But today, there's 8 tees have been moved up. It's playing much shorter today. And the bottom line is the scoring average down to 73.3. But then factoring in, like you say, the nerves on the back 9, you see Choi having this great round, but can she keep it together? She did get the par at number 10, which was huge. That's a super hard hole. And Creamer's got to play that hole, so it could be really tight. If she could post a number, you know, even the number she's at right now, +1, that's going to be tough for Creamer to not sort of fall under the pressure. Really, it will be.
And Dottie, speaking of Paula, so much at stake for her today, especially when you stack up what has happened the previous 2 U.S. Women's Opens. This is a very, very big day for Paula.
It is. My teacher growing up told me that to never write a victory speech before you had both hands on the trophy. And I think Paula Creamer has acknowledged this week that she has looked forward, the 2 opportunities she's had to win this championship, dreaming about what it would be to be Women's Open champion. And she had said she's not going to let herself get there. She's going to stick to her game plan, play this golf course as it comes to her. And she's handled her speed bumps that she's had on the front 9 today beautifully. And she's also managed this thumb coming off surgery nicely. But she's going to have a gut check for these last 9.5 holes she has to play, and whether she can control the real urge to see my name on that trophy, maybe just a little too soon.
And that's a significant injury, that thumb surgery she had back at the end of March. Gary Koch on the tower. On the ground, we've got Roger Maltby, Kay Cockrell, and Jane Crafter. And also from the USGA, Ginger Follison in the 18th tower with us to handle anything that may come up as far as the rules are concerned. And back out to the Pink Panther, Paula Creamer, and a look at her card, Gary.
Yeah, very solid round so far. 3-putt bogey at the 4th, but then came right back with a beautiful birdie putt at 5. And then we documented the par saves at 6 and 8. And has positioned her tee shot very nicely here, Roger.
She has on the very edge of the fairway on the right-hand side, Gary, and I don't know if the edge of the collar of the intermediate cut of rough is really going to be that much of an issue, but she's changed clubs. She's got 198 to the hole, 180 to the front, and the hole cut just about in the center, perfect center of the green. 18 paces on, 18 left of it, 18 right of it.
There's a little slope just to the right of the hole that you can utilize to get the ball close. If you go a little too far left, you end up dealing with a little valley in the green.
He works on hitting the ball in the middle of the club face, like we all should, but this is a side hill lie.
It's a solid shot, cutting a little bit left-right, just a little left of the hole.
That's a good shot. It goes down in that little valley we talked about to leave a typical Oakmont cut, kind of up and over a slope. At the 11th.
Brittany Lang, and look how much swing she's reading into this birdie try.
tough time finishing the third round, but had gotten off to a good start. This will work big. Throw it out to the apex and let it gather up speed, let gravity find the ball's way to the hole.
It's very downhill. Look at how quick that is. Good putt.
Lang birdied 3 of the first 7 holes to move up. Bogeyed the 8th and now is at +3 after beginning the day 6 behind Creamer. She's crept to within 4. She was the familiar name from Cherry Hills back in 2005 as an amateur from Duke, who finished in a tie for second with Morgan Pressel after the spectacular birdie that Birdie Kim made on the final hole to relegate Lang and Pressel to runner-ups. But now she's been on tour for 5 years and is still looking for that first win. Dressed in red, white, and blue in America's Championship. As we go out to Na Yun Choi at the 12th.
And a chance for yet another birdie, Jane.
And Gary, a very, very slow putt. Very steep slope back up towards this hole. About 30 feet. She'll break a little bit to her right. Just didn't really make good solid contact with that one.
Choi is making a move. She's 5 under par in her final round of this 65th playing of the United States Women's Open Championship. She finds herself 2 shots behind Paula Creamer. Can Creamer hang on?
Gorgeous weather continues here at Oakmont Country Club as we go out to the 10th for Suzann Pettersen. Huge crowds here. Today's crowd announced near 25,000 or so. The largest of the week as Pettersen looks at this downhill shot, some 36 feet, Kay.
133 yards to the front. Be interested to see where she lands this on the green.
It's been the toughest green to hit all week long.
And the second hardest hole, but this hole location is not bad.
You can land it out there and let it filter down.
Put so much spin on it, it didn't chase. So that's going to be a big, fast, curling hook putt.
Yeah, one of the more severe greens here at Oakmont. There are a few of them cruising smoothly up there today, though, is the MetLife Blimp among the picture-perfect blue sky of Oakmont, PA. A strong reminder that in turbulent times, MetLife can help you stay on course with guarantees for the if in life. And those are a couple of the bridges that connect the 2 sections of the golf course. I-76, the Pennsylvania Turnpike, which runs right through Oakmont. And now down to the 15-year-old who just turned pro, Lexi Thompson, who's having quite a week here. Just a tough shot out of the rough.
Yeah, she's lucky. Only 6 feet past the hazard.
The hitting the screen of a long drive from here.
It's a really awkward angle out of that rough. But considering where her drive could have ended up, I think she's very pleased.
At that angle just can't stay on the green from the rough.
Lexi began the day 5 off of Creamer's lead. Double bogeyed the first hole, but has worked her way back. Over to 9.
Well, we see the taped up thumb and wrist area, Dan, and I know you've had a chance to talk to Paula about it. Let's take a look and we'll zoom in here and see exactly what goes on. It really is, to me, right as she gets into the impact area, when the right wrist starts to straighten, that you know, the most pressure is put on that left thumb.
And a jolt right there.
Yeah, exactly. And Paula was saying that, you know, she's about 60%. She has to ice that area 4 to 5 times a day. And Danny, I know you've had a chance to talk to her father about it.
Yeah, I have. It's been a long week for her. She has continued to ice it. There was a lot of ice put on it last night as Paula basically played golf all day yesterday. She's been at the golf course all day today. And what Paul emphasized was that she has a weak left side, not just the thumb, which is still coming back. It's the forearm and the hand, which were in a cast and a splint covering some 7 weeks. So it atrophied, and that has been a big obstacle to overcome. And when the left side gets weak for Paula, she has a tendency to come over with the right hand and kind of compensate for it. So that's something that Paul and everybody in Creamer's camp were very concerned about.
Well, her swing right now is right on the putt. Perfect lead, shaft pointing at the ball at hip high. Beautiful release once the handle gets to the ball, and after impact she keeps the shaft on line with her left forearm, and you just, every one of those is A+.
Now this is an eagle opportunity, but this is not an easy putt. Up and out of this little low area, Roger.
Yes, up over a ridge and then moving to her right. And when it gets over that little ridge, it's got a little speed yet on it.
Most of the players have missed this putt low. That's a good effort, though.
Gary, it was such a serious surgery that Paula actually didn't know if she was going to be able to play golf again. That was a huge concern. Back over at 13 for Na Yun Choi off the tee of this 160-yard par 3, Jane.
And Dan, that's a 6-iron. It's trying to feed it in from the right. A big slope from right to left. Should take it to the hole.
It's just sitting stuck.
Well, I've seen a lot of belt buckles in the world of golf, but how about NYC for Na Yun Choi?
Nicknamed the Big Apple.
Yeah, for New York City. Back over to the 10th for Lexi Thompson's third K.
Well, it's been an interesting round for Lexi today, but I really have to commend her for keeping it together mentally. This is a real challenge of a golf course for her and a challenging position for her to be in.
Well, the profile for Lexi Thompson, she's been around quite a while. Even at the age of 15 here, has some experience in this championship, the youngest ever to qualify for it back at Pine Needles at the age of 12, U.S. Girls Junior Champion. So she's done some winning before turning pro here at the age of 15.
I saw there where she was a member of the Curtis Cup team last month. She didn't even know that that competition existed until she asked her dad, why are we playing so many amateur tournaments over these next couple of years? Well, there's this little thing called the Curtis Cup. It'd be a really cool thing if you got on the team.
There's her father on the bag. And back over to the 9th.
And what is left for a relatively easy birdie here for Creamer.
Well, Sunday at the U.S. Open with the lead. I don't know if any of these are.
Well, uphill, a little bit of right to left break, so that is as easy a putt as you could ask for. All right, nicely done. So Creamer with the 2-putt birdie moves to 2 under par and extends her lead to 3 shots as she goes into the final 9 holes here at Oakmont Country Club. We'll be right back.
Now with a 3-shot lead, Paula Creamer off the tee at the par 4 10th.
She's hit every fairway so far. Obviously, her nerves are definitely in check with the tee to green part, and the putting looks good. But the back 9, like I said, is sort of a different game. And see if she can keep it up. There's a good start.
It was drilled.
You can see how quick these fairways are.
Well, she's got the pink shaft working, and there's a little bit of flex in it on this drive.
Pretty good on Dottie. That's good torque.
It's wonderful how the butt end of the club just goes right down at the target line.
Look how she keeps her nose down there. I mean, you talk about that's tough on your back. It's a little like Natalie Gulbis.
What about this 10th hole? I mean, it's got one of the most severe greens on the course.
What the USGA considers the most severe green on the golf course, but this whole fairway is where it starts 30 some odd yards or feet downhill. Everything wants to travel to the left hand side, and then you've got a green that continues in that same direction. Every ball wants to feed to the back left corner, so a short-sided miss to the right is really difficult.
So now we're live on this tough 10th for birdie, and look at just touching it is Pedersen.
Well, she played that as if it were a 4 or 5 footer and obviously needed a little more.
The thing that players make a big mistake in is the first part of the putt, sometimes you don't realize you're actually putting it uphill before it turns left and runs down the fall line, and it makes players come way up short on that kind of putt.
Well, if you want golf updates whenever and wherever, you can use NBC Sports Mobile. Get them right on your cell. The word golf. Text it to 51515. Again, text the letters GOLF to 51515. Over to 15. The champion from Interlaken a couple of years ago, NB Park. This was a birdie attempt for her just a moment ago.
Player who's really gained a lot more confidence this year. She's actually managed to play a very full schedule, playing part-time on the JLPGA Tour and playing a full complement of LPGA golf as well.
One of the many Koreans who have won this championship in recent years. Yoon Hee Ji, the defender from Sauket Valley last year. So now a par attempt for Pedersen.
Already missed 4 fairly short ones.
And don't you know, you got to deal with another one. And another
She
miss.
just came off a 3-putt par at the 9th. Her putter has let her down huge today.
Yeah, if you look at the previous putts, which we're going to show you right now for Pedersen, she could have the lead in this championship if she could just get this putter to cooperate. This was a birdie miss at the 5th. We earlier showed you her driving the green at the short par 4 second. She missed an eagle putt there, and then another miss here at the 6th for birdie. And then at the 9th hole, this was a birdie miss at the par 5. So all of these putts makeable for Pedersen, just not able to get him down. So now for bogey, she's going to drop another one here to +3 after she had it to +1 and was just 2 off the lead, just a few holes to go, up to 12.
Brittany Lang playing her 3rd shot here at the par 5, although playing some 44 yards shorter than it has in the opening 3 rounds.
Boy, Gary, it's been tough for the players to hit this green this
It's
week.
amazing that they've been hitting it less than 50% of the time. It's playing a little easier today, Dottie, with the hole location up.
This is a typical Oakmont green that you just
Running from front to back.
I remember hitting about a 50-footer there once and hitting it and walking down and waiting for it to come to me.
Na Yeon Choi for birdie at 13.
Well,
She's cooled down a bit.
yeah, pars are good though at a U.S. Open. You know, she can pick one up maybe on the next hole.
Previous week's LPGA Tour winner and their finish in the U.S. Women's Open. Na Yeon Choi coming off the victory after a very rare miscut at the LPGA Championship a couple of weeks ago.
In fact, it was the very first cut she has missed since getting her LPGA Tour card.
Over to 10. Lexi Thompson to stay at +4 just a moment ago to stay 6 back.
That wasn't a 3-putt, but she has had 7 of those 3 putts this week. Without that, boy, you're looking at a player in serious kind of contention.
She falls 7 off of Creamer's lead as we go back to the 10th. Roger. Show you how hard this 10th hole has been playing. This for the week. Just a little more than a third of the field reaching it in regulation. Scoring average more than a half shot above.
You know, every hole location, folks, today is identical to 2007 the Cabrera one, except for the 7th hole. The USGA just duplicated the hole locations from the men's open, and the only difference is the tees were moved up, and that's why the scoring is better today.
Four down. 34.
Perfect scenario here, Johnny, would be to cut the ball left to right into this green to help hold that slope from front right to back left.
This is the hole location you want. Maybe slightly take advantage of the front right hole location.
40, it's going
Are
to
the
fly.
toughest.
6 yards? Well, you've got 30 at 30.
No, I don't like it when you do that.
Okay. I think it's good.
Well, obviously it's not a right on the button hole, yardage for it, right, Dottie?
Well, I think they're also trying to figure out just how much this is going to release. Saw Suzann Pedersen get burned by that. It came down softly, but Paula does not spin it as much as Suzann does.
What kind of flight is that, Roger?
You know, this ball is turning a little right to left on line. Boy, did that ball land soft. I think that surprised her. It surprised me as well.
Well, it is
Still moving, I understand, but
Yeah.
it could have hit harder than that.
Yeah, well, the greens are definitely holding better than they were earlier in the week.
And another reason why this day means so much to Paula Creamer is because of the disappointments we have talked about. The 2 previous U.S. Women's Opens coming into this championship. This was Interlaken a couple of years ago. She started the day 1 back in the final group. She had already been +3 on the round after double bogeying the 2nd hole. This was her 2nd shot over the 9th green, and then things really started unraveling from here. Her 3rd goes off the front of the green. This was her first time playing in the final group at the U.S. Women's Open before she got another chance today. She would go on to tap in for a double bogey out in 41. Shot a 78 to finish in a tie for 6th. The championship that Inbee Park went on to win, but you can see by the look on Paula's face, it was a Sunday night, she said, that I won't forget. I got wrapped up in the moment. I got a little too far ahead of myself, and then last year at Silicon Valley, everything came apart on Saturday after trying to reach the short par 4 10th. Things really started getting out of hand. She was in the final group on this 3rd round Saturday. This would end up being a triple bogey. It was the only triple bogey all weekend on that short par 4. She shot 69 the next day to finish in a tie for 6th, but she has had some bitter disappointment in this championship the last 2 years, but came into this week saying she had learned a lot from what had happened at Interlaken and Saucon Valley the last 2 years. Now for par at 13 is Choi to stay 3 back.
New putter in her bag last week after struggling at the LPGA Championship for the very first time, putting with a heel shafted putter. Was taking the putter way outside, and she felt like this naturally fixed the problem.
Well, that's not what she was looking for. 3-putt after a very fine, and she's still got some distance left, but a very fine approach shot on this par 3, and looking at a 3-footer for bogey.
And Paula Creamer's lead getting more comfortable without her even realizing it.
Yep. Choi's going to lose at least one here. So a 4-shot lead by Paula Creamer. All of a sudden, she has separated herself. Pedersen, the next best 5 back, along with Brittany Lang.
Well, Paula Creamer's got 8 wins at just 23 years old. That is pretty darn incredible. She's due for a major. You know, usually the ratio is 8, 9, 10 wins to a major, and she's there right now. So she'll have earned it the right way if she gets this U.S. Women's Open.
24 total starts in major championships in her career, looking for the first win. 7 top 10s, the best finish at the LPGA Championship and the Women's British Open last year, a tie for 3rd. Christy Kerr at 12.
And that birdie opportunity slips by, and Kerr got off to a fast start. A couple of birdies early in her round, moved to 3 over par. Looked like she might be making a run herself, but has fallen back to +6.
3 doubles in yesterday's 3rd round really took the steam out of Christy Kerr's game plan.
When you get it going, it's hard to keep it going. You got to just keep picking your spots and putting the pedal down when it's a green lighter.
With 11, where Pedersen has to try to turn things around here. Kay Cockrell is on the scene after Pedersen has made a couple of bogeys in the last 3 holes.
And a little right.
Well, I'll tell you, there's nothing wrong with the long game.
I know that.
I know that, but is this just a solid 120?
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to spin a bit, so I think pitching it a couple past, and I think a good way. It's not rush this one. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, but I'm just asking it. Is it in line? No.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
But I'm asking. It feels like it's hurting.
Caddy of Lorena Ochoa, who is, of course, now retired.
I would understand why she's a little confused here. The wind seems to be sort of swirling around.
Still like the wedge?
Not much of it, but what's there kind of keeps vacillating back and forth.
120, I've been hitting that all day.
Yeah. Step on it, yeah.
Well, last word, step on it.
Sounds like it's a big pitching wedge, and she's got to be able to control the spin. She spins it as hard as anybody does on this tour, certainly.
And this plays at least a half the club uphill.
She's #1 in greens and regulation. Catch this stat: 82% of the greens. The men's tour, usually the leader of the greens and regulation for the year is usually like 72, 73%. She's at 82, and she's had 7 3-putts. In reality, 121 putts in 128 would be par. So she only had 7 1-putts in reality.
All right, here's Paula Creamer for birdie at 10. Roger.
Well, putting from the proper side of the green here, actually putting back uphill slightly. It will turn to her left coming up the hill here. pretty good leave of an iron shot, John.
She's just really playing well, hitting every fairway. That's big time pressure golf thus far. She is determined.
You get the feeling they'll either be tears of joy for Paula Creamer or tears of disappointment here, one way or the other.
It's a tough little putt she's got left.
To 12.
Brittany Lang with a chance to creep ever closer. Just for a birdie. Nicely done. Her 4th birdie of the day. Just 1 bogey. Brittany Lang to 2 over par and now in a tie for 2nd place. Paula Creamer seems rock solid here in the final round of the 65th U.S. Women's Open Championship at Oakmont Country Club. She still has 9 holes to go. Can she do it? Stay with us.
Back at Oakmont, so much history here. So many great champions have hoisted trophies here through the years. And out to the action at the 14th. Na Yun Choi with an interesting stance here. Jane?
Yeah, tough lie. Ball well above her feet. 110 yards, very thick lie. A lot of grass behind it, Johnny.
So easy to yank it left.
And this one head to the left of the green. Very
Just
difficult shot.
Kick yourself when you don't take advantage of a hole like that.
And that's a tough lie right there.
So easy on the front for Choi and finding it difficult on the back. Over to 10 for par is Creamer to stay at 2 under.
Roger, that funny little distance that gave her some trouble finishing the 3rd round.
That says a lot of break right.
Right, and the tendency's been to block the putts and leave the blade open.
Oop.
Ooh, just got into the right edge.
I thought she missed it. I really did. She started that thing straight in, and it should have been left edge. But man, she's shaking her head like that's a good break.
And she made some clutch par saves today, and from a lot longer distance than that one. Over at 13, again the 160-yard par 3, and a tie for 2nd for back Brittany Lang.
Sets up for a draw perfectly, Dottie.
But that's not her shot. She likes to move it the other direction a bit.
Whatever it was, she did it.
Well, the ground made it go that way.
Good chance to move it to solo 2nd if she gets that to fall. And a reminder that following today's coverage of this championship, you can go to NBCSports.com for the Lexus wrap-up. We'll be breaking down all of today's action as well as exclusive video features and analysis, all at NBCSports.com. We've talked about how popular this would be, a win today for Paula Creamer. And if you look at the lack of American presence in major championships in women's golf over the last several majors, 9th American only she would become in the last 40 majors to break through, the 7th American to win the last 37 LPGA Tour events.
Keep in mind that 40 majors equates to a decade. The Americans have gotten a big boost lately by Christy Kerr jumping to the top of the world rankings, but it would be an enormous boost for the LPGA to have a player with this popularity win this particular major championship especially.
All right, Amy Yang.
There's a nice swing.
And a good shot. Headed right up to the left center of the fairway. That's beautifully positioned.
Gotta like that swing, Roger.
Yeah, it's got a lot of power, too.
Yeah, it's effortless power.
Up on the green here at 11 is Pedersen.
Downhill left to right breaking putt. She's had a couple of putts today that looked very good, that went right over the edge, so just nothing going.
She'll stay at +3. We go to 14 for the 3rd for Na Yun Choi.
Back in her stance, a little chunk, and just caught that grass coming into it. It's not a good break going up against that high grass, and should have played it even farther back in her stance.
She's in danger of back-to-back bogeys, falling to +3. Back on the tee is Creamer. You throw in the fact that golf has lost Annika Sorenstam and Lorena Ochoa to retirement, the past 2 dominating #1s in golf, even though Kerr's on top of the heap right now. They're kind of looking for the next superstar to really kind of stay up there and dominate this sport.
Yeah, and then you get into the conversation of, is it better to have a dominating player, or is it better to have this competition between a bunch of players to be number one?
Up on the green, Lexi Thompson for par. Maybe this will be the next real superstar in the making.
With her distance, she could be. We thought Michelle Wie with her distance would do it. And maybe it's Lexi is the one.
By the way, Michelle Wie missing the cut in this championship after opening up with an 82, so she did not figure once again in a U.S. Women's Open. But Thompson in the second to last group at the age of 15, just turned pro.
Second longest hitter in the field this week at 276 yards, so she's got some serious power.
There's a two-time Women's Open champion, Kari Webb, who won back-to-back in 2000 and 2001. 4 birdie for Webb.
Kari actually got the necessary points to qualify for the LPGA's Hall of Fame by winning at the Merit Club.
Webb beginning the day at +6. That birdie got her back to +7 for the championship. American flag hovering high above Oakmont, and Creamer for the moment at American high up on the board.
Jenny! You gotta be kidding me!
Still one of our favorite expressions in all of golf. Jenny Shasiraporn at Black Wolf Run, eventually losing to Sari Pak in a playoff. But Brittany Lang, also hailing from Duke, trying to break through and become the first Duke player to win an LPGA Tour event.
It's impossible.
And Lang with a beauty there to move up the board and solo second. Hard to believe that a Duke player has never won out here.
There's been 13 of them, and they are over.
Now for her par to avoid back-to-back bogeys is Choi.
Yeah.
Beautiful putt there. Wow.
Right in the
Stayed
middle.
right through the follow-through. Head rock solid.
Got one clap out of it too.
Not many. The crowd's not around that green, but we gave her one.
NFL returns to NBC with a Hall of Fame game. The Bengals take on Tony Romo and the Cowboys August 8th. Then it's back to football. Drew Brees and the Super Bowl champion Saints taking on the Vikings in an NFC Championship rematch September 9th on NBC. It was hot and humid to start the week here in the Pittsburgh area, but the last 2 days have been absolutely perfect. Just bright blue skies, low humidity, and you can't get any better than this at Oakmont in the middle of July.
What a course.
It is spectacular. Every time I get here, I realize how great this golf course is. It's just one of the special ones in all the world. Back out to the 11th and Paula Creamer. Roger.
106 left to the hole, and Johnny, not only she hit every fairway, but she's hit a lot of them in perfect position. I mean, the right side corner of the fairways, and giving herself the best angles. I mean, it's really been very impressive, certainly from the tee.
It has. So far, so good for her.
Hole sits just on top of a ridge, very steep slope in front of the hole.
Down.
It's coming in deep. Wants it to spin.
Not that bad, Paula. Got a little excited, I guess. She knew she hit it too hard the minute she hit it.
This was a moment ago back at 13. Christy Kerr for birdie. And somehow climb back into this thing. She'll need a bunch of those down the stretch to do it.
She was due.
Tee shot at the 350-yard par 4 14th. Brittany Lang and Kay Cockrell has joined this threesome.
This fairway slopes right to left. She's taking it nicely down the right center.
This is a birdie hole.
Definitely, that front location is much easier than it's been in the last few days.
Lang with back-to-back birdies up to +1. Jennifer Johnson, one of 6 amateurs to make the cut. Started the day at +9, had a fine third round 71. Fades a bit with a 78 today, but you make the cut in the Women's Open on a golf course like this, that is victory in itself, and leading the way among the amateurs is Jennifer Johnson.
Her last chance to be low amateur in an Open. She will turn professional. Looks like next week.
So many of these young women electing to turn professional. And now Christy Kerr at 14. Christy, one of those who came out very early in her career.
Didn't go to college at all.
The fairway is heavily bunkered on both sides.
Going down the right side.
Okay, good shot.
It's going to end up just fine.
Kerr was the favorite coming in after that 12-shot romp at the LPGA Championship, the second major of the year. This is the third major, the biggest one of all, with Creamer leading. Little boat party out there on the Allegheny River. Folks enjoying the beautiful weather on this weekend in Pittsburgh, and that Allegheny River right near Oakmont, where a huge crowd is gathered here to see who's going to win the 65th U.S. Women's Open. Creamer at 11. Birdie try on the way. The speed so good by Creamer.
Close to #1 in putting this week and driving.
Whoa, what happened there?
That was somebody's line, I do believe.
She was so excited about her beautiful lag down there that she kind of lost where she was.
Hey, stress-free pars. It's reason to get excited.
Just like that guy. Check out the top of the screen there as she walks in the line. Whoa!
Hopscotch.
Over to 15. Na Yun Choi's second, and Jane, you're there.
After a perfect drive, 153 to the front, 161 to this front right hole location. Just needs to land it just short and let it kick down slightly to the right would be ideal. Oh, miss hit there.
Yeah, just hit it thin and no power to it.
Second for Brittany Lang now at 14, K.
128 yards, ball a little above her feet.
She needs this birdie right here.
That's a pretty good spot to leave it.
You get the feeling of the golfers closest to Creamer. Brittany Lang, who is the closest, has the best chance here. Let's take another look at this swing by Lang.
Takes it back really low, that first 6 inches. Look at that left arm. See, her knees haven't hardly moved at all. Her hips barely moved. That's a big wide circle. Just beautiful. There's not a lot of wrist cock, less than 90 degrees. Not much hand action. She just comes down, and that is very simple. That's the closest swing I can say to that simplicity is Steve Stricker, who is shooting 0 this week also.
Lang, the first round leader with a 69. By the way, Steve Stricker, the winner on the PGA Tour this year, going very, very low.
Yeah, he set a record for 54 holes, 25 under through 3 rounds.
Coasted in, posted 26 under. Wow, is that a bad miss?
That sure was, with the short iron in her hand.
Stricker, a 2-shot winner on the PGA Tour. And back over at 11, this is Amy Yang for birdie. This is for 3 in a row for her.
Amy works with a fellow by the name of Tom Creevy, whose grandfather won the PGA Championship. He also works with Sari Pak. Pretty simple golf swings there.
That's a nice little stretch there, huh? Triple birdies.
Yep, Yang just 20 years old, born in South Korea, but moved to Australia. Trying to become the 3rd youngest to win this championship. To Christina Kim at the par 5 12th.
Playing her 3rd shot to a very difficult hole location.
Oh, get left.
Going for it to get left. And will it hold? Well, it does. That's a good shot. Keeps it on that little shelf. Leaves it up there. Putt.
That thing was like a foot offline. She was yelling, get left.
Yeah, Johnny, it's rare when we see par 5s play over par, but this one has done so all week long. Tough hole. This will go to 13.
And Natalie Gulbis, who began the day 6 off the lead, is +2 in a round. Just 2 bogeys, looking for her first birdie here.
I like the shorter putter with standard grip. I think she looks a lot better, and it looks like she's putting better than the split-handed model.
Split-handed, it was kind of an odd setup to begin with. It was very wide, very open. Much more conventional now, and I think it's going to pay off long term.
To 12.
Well, the par 5, as I mentioned earlier, it playing 2 tees up, so playing at 558 yards today, and because of that, it brings in this very severely sloping fairway from left to right. And the player has to decide, do they lay up into this area short of these bunkers and try to play a 3rd shot in, or do you risk trying to go for the green in 2? And this is one of the greens here at Oakmont that funnels the ball, and the slope is from the front of the green to the back right corner. All right, Yang on the tee, Roger.
She is. And I would think this would be a player with a good tee shot that might have a shot at reaching this green too. This going up to right.
Watch how this rolls.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to keep it in the fairway if you hit it up the right side.
I think the hole is playing a lot easier, up 44 yards today.
Up at 15.
3rd for Choi now.
Chunked the last one.
That was absolutely beautifully executed. You could see the left wrist kind of collapse under. The ball's got to come up and land quietly.
And at 13, IK Kim for birdie.
IK, a former girls junior champion, that was just 5 years ago.
Nice. Moves to 1 under on a round, and +4 for the championship. So moving up the board a bit. Christy Kerr from the bunker alongside the 14th.
Early in the week, you just couldn't play that shot right there. You know, it just wouldn't have stopped. The greens were like concrete earlier in the week, and now it's very fair. That's why we're seeing some good rounds. 65 on the other side of the golf course.
Yeah, by Song Hee Kim. And that is the lowest round of this championship by 4 shots. Coming into this final round, no one except Brittany Lang had shot in the 60s, but Song Hee Kim with a 65.
Nice.
Creamer off the tee at the 12th.
And she's hitting it so straight, Gary. She's not even have to watch
a little left, though. Bunker.
She has struggled here. She's bogeyed this hole twice in the first 3 rounds.
Did that go up by the lip?
I think that's going to be a very awkward second shot and maybe have trouble reaching the green in 3 as we go up to 14.
Brittany Lang looking for 3 birdies in a row here to get it to even.
And Dan, this would be for her 6th birdie on this round, and although she would like to have hit it in a little closer, this is a good angle, a good line to be putting on.
Okay, are you surprised that Brittany Lang has not won yet, or is she just kind of a continuing work in progress?
No, I am surprised. She has always had a very strong physical long game. As we've been talking about this week, it's been her putter that's let her down, but she works so hard on this aspect of her game. It has to start paying off sooner or later.
There's a good chance if she makes this, she'll be within 1 shot of the lead within 10 minutes. Hit it right in the middle of the hole. That's one of the signs when you start to get a little nervous, like, I might win the Open, and you start hitting them short.
Over to the 15th. See if Na Yun Choi can save another par for the 2nd straight hole and stave off a bogey. Stays at +2 after opening up at 5 under 31. She's in solo 3rd behind Brittany Lang. Paula Creamer being tested on the final 9 here at 2 under.
Back to Oakmont Country Club. We're at the par 5 12th, where a rare miscue off the tee has put Paula Creamer in a precarious position, Roger.
Well, it has. This is a very deep bunker with a very steep embankment immediately in front of her, and I'm sure she can get no more than a wedge on this to get the trajectory she needs to get out of here. I don't think she could probably advance this much more than 100 yards.
Tough stance.
Yeah, awkward stance, ball below her feet. I mean, this is not a pretty spot.
Hit it correctly. She's a 10. I could hit that bank on it, Gary.
Well, you got to take your medicine now. Make sure you get it out.
This like kind of explosion shot hasn't moved that but about 50 yards, if that.
Actually backed up.
And we'll move to the tee at the 16th, par 3, 220 yards today. Back right hole location, very difficult hole.
And Gary, not a whole lot of breeze right now.
This is a no-go flag stick.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the middle of the green would be smart. This one heading to the center of the green.
I bet she hit that within a foot of where she was aiming, Gary.
Yeah, that's a very smart shot, very well executed. Make a 3 here at 16, you're happy. We'll go back to the 12th. Suzann Pettersen went for the green in 2, came up just short and right, pitched to this position. That should move to her right.
What a day of putting.
Yeah, the frustration continues. Wow. At 14.
Christy Kerr for par.
It's going to be one classy bunker save.
Really hit up on that one.
Hit up on it, and the putter kind of waved at the back in transition, not as quiet as it normally is.
Back to 12.
And Christina Kim for birdie 4. That one always wide to the right. Some opportunity missed there. Kim will remain at +5. MetLife has today's round covered end to end with one-of-a-kind shots from the Snoopy 1 airship. So whether you're tackling the hazards of the course or the uncertainties of life, MetLife has the unique perspective to keep you on course. So go to 15.
And off the tee is Lang.
Real tough tee shot this is in a lot of ways because it's blind. You can't see anything. You've got a pole down there you can aim at, which you can see is right here.
This is the play.
Three bunkers on the left. It is playing downwind right now.
Okay, this is a play she made earlier in the week. Laid way back off the tee. It was an early decision she made during her practice rounds. Said, hey, I need to put the ball in play here. I'm willing to give it up and hit a longer club in.
You can see the mini church pews on the left and that deep bunker on the right. A lot of bad spots here on this hole with the blind tee shot, so that was well played.
Over at the 12th, good look at the hole location, middle left on the shelf, same hole location that was used in the final round of the 2007 men's US Open. Creamer now with her third, Roger.
And won't be able to reach the green. Has about a little over 300 yards to the hole, somewhere close to 280 to the front edge, so I don't think she can get it there. Maybe she can get it right around the front. But I would think she'd be having to concern herself with leaving this ball on the right side and giving herself some kind of angle to pitch that hole on the left, Gary.
Is the bunker on the right in play, Roger?
Should be able to get it by that.
I would think she'd carry that.
Like she kind of popped it up. That hurt.
Boy, I guess. She dug that club down into the ground, and you can tell by her reaction there. So, Paula Creamer struggling at the par 5 12th. The lead currently 3. She's trying to shake off a poor shot there where she hit down into the ground, and you can tell the reaction. That hurt. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Well, we know the wrist, the surgically repaired wrist for Paula Creamer has been very sore all week, but this is the first time, Gary, that she has really flinched after the second shot at 12. Now, you had a similar surgery on your wrist. I know it was many, many years ago,
yes.
But you have an idea of what she's going through.
Oh, yeah, I sure do, Dan. It was the same thing, ligament in the thumb. It was way back in the late 70s, so I'm sure the techniques are much better now in performing the surgery, but literally, it was about a year before I felt like I was back to full strength. You know, you mentioned the strength in the wrist and the forearm. I mean, it is a very painful and long recovery from it as we go to 15.
And the second shot for Lang.
198 yards to the hole, 190 to the front. Really probably only needs to hit this about 180, 85 at the most.
Just about the same shot in Thursday's opening round and made a bomb for a 3.
Pulled it.
Did she ever?
Wow.
Down in a all these bunkers are deep, but it's really deep down there.
That was a combination of too much club and the pole.
Good news is she got plenty of green to work with.
And it looks like it's found the bottom of the bunker.
Usually a very consistent ball striker, Dottie. This one.
This is that same shot, ball below your feet, and a lot of players come over the top of it. They don't push it.
Make the effort and just stay in there a little too long.
Yeah, I guess so.
Up ahead to 16.
Na Young Choi for a birdie 2.
Gary about 40 feet across the green. Wants to break to the right. Start to pick up a little more speed right now.
And that should be a stress-free par for Choi there at 16, and that is a good score. Only 2 birdies recorded here all day. They're all playing to a stroke average of just under 3.5.
You know, if she can finish 3-4, she's not totally out of it.
And we'll move back to the 12th. Creamer now ready for her 4th shot, Roger.
And 88 yards left to the hole here, Gary. Getting a little fidgety now. Hands are sweating, wiping her hands off, still kind of favoring that left hand a little bit. You can tell it's the way she's been moving it and whatnot, that it's still giving her some concern.
Pitch before it down.
Sounded good.
I don't think it's going to have any spin. It didn't look like it had a lot of spin on it.
No, that's going to funnel all the way toward the back of the green.
Well, the doctors say she cannot injure it anymore, but she has been dealing with some pain, and as much pain now as any time during this championship week. She's been working off a 40 ball count. Talking to her dad earlier today, it's kind of like a pitch count. And she did not hit any balls off the ground until she arrived here at this championship. She was hitting all the balls off the tee just to kind of minimize the impact when she practiced. But even the practice she got in, she has been limited to 40 ball warm up throughout this championship week as well.
Up to 14.
IK Kim second.
+4.
Chantal wants to go to a front right hole location, and boy, she would do a great job managing that.
And Kyung Kim making a bit of a run here. Chance for another birdie for her to get it to +3. And we've talked about the close call by Brittany Lang back in 2005 at Cherry Hills when she was an amateur for Duke, just 19 years old, playing in her first Women's Open. This was for par at the 72nd hole. Shot a 71. She was in the 7th to last group, so she went in the clubhouse to see how she would fare. Now, Birdie Kim was tied with Morgan Pressel at the time of this bunker shot at the 72nd hole. Lang was one back, and then boom! All of a sudden, Birdie Kim wrested it away from not only Morgan Pressel, who was behind in the fairway and couldn't believe it, but a stunned Lang as well watched as Pressel and Lang finished in a tie for second. And it is the closest a Duke player has come since Jenny Shasiraporn back in '98 and her runner-up.
Where is Birdie Kim?
Birdie Kim has gotten married, and I don't believe she was in the field this week.
Yeah.
But Lang has struggled in all of the U.S. Open since that close call at Cherry Hills. No top 30s since.
I think this bunker shot is not that tough, is it?
Well, Johnny, the green is really sloping away severely. She's taking some practice swings now right on the edge of the green, laying that sand wedge, that lob wedge wide open, all the way open, turning that 60 degree more into a 64 degree.
But can't you just get it on the green and let let it feed right in there? It wants to feed itself in there.
Yep, you can, but she's gonna have to make sure she really juices it, get some good spin on it, because it is, and the wind's helping, so it's downhill, a little bit downwind.
A little upslope though should help, shouldn't it?
Yes.
Gets the ball up and down just barely over 50% of the time out of bunkers.
Taking in nice.
Lead set open beautifully. Sit.
Now low and firm.
Wow.
Sit.
That one's not executing well, obviously.
So Lang in danger of dropping at least one at 15.
See, that hits behind the ball. It's way, way behind the ball. Not much open face there. It's like she shut it down while she got in the hitting zone.
It was very odd because it was set so far open.
She didn't keep the face open. It's like she pronated over the top of it.
Big putt for IK Kim at 14 to get to +3. And her 5th birdie of this round. Also with 3 bogeys. But IK Kim, the 12th ranked player in the world, moving into the hunt here. And over to Creamer at 12.
And her lengthy putt for a par. Rod just went back up the hill pretty slow, huh?
Yes, and if there's any bright side in any of this hole for Paula Creamer, she just watched Wendy Ward putt from almost the same line, just a little bit longer than hers. So she's seen the pace, moves a little bit to the left, not a lot, but it is a slow putt.
Fairly predictable there that it would come up short. We move up to 17. This just a moment ago. This is what can happen here at the short par 4. It does play uphill. It is a blind tee shot, but
keeps it up really high.
Just 229 yards to the hole, Johnny, and this is some kind of exciting.
Wow, look at this shot.
This is by a player that is by no means considered long, so it opens this opportunity up for the entire field.
Now live on the tee, Choi, and she's hitting less than a driver.
Yeah, looks like it's a 3-wood. Gary, a little bit of breeze in her face. Good solid strike going right at the flag.
Oh, it hits softly. That's a good shot. It's not a tough up and down from there. Of course, in the final round of the U.S. Open in '07, this 17th hole was pivotal. Tiger Woods unable to get the ball up and down out of the bunker. Made a par. Furyk made a bogey trying to drive the green. We'll go over to 15.
Okay, what about this next shot for Lang?
Looks like she's going with the putter. Ball released from the bunker on through to the intermediate cut. And I guess she feels the lie is good enough to putt it. Flagstick is out.
Gotta be careful not to come up 4 feet short.
Jumped a bit.
Or busted by.
Hopped over. Yep. Well, this hole could be a breather, a little bit of a breather for Paula Creamer. When she sees that score posted,
Lang's
could
going
be
to
a
drop
double.
at least one. And here's Creamer for bogey.
Raj, 3 feet or so, something like that?
Something like that. I would think just inside of that, and not a complicated putt at all. It's pretty much right center, I think, at most.
He made the mistake off the tee. And the whole deal in this situation, don't compound that mistake with a 3-putt. Take your medicine and go on. You've got a birdie hole coming up at the 14th, and if you hit a good tee shot at 13, you might steal 2.
Okay. Safely in, drops just 1 shot. Lang struggling at 15, so still interesting as we go to the 15th.
And Christy Kerr looking for a birdie. Up and down roller coaster round for Kerr, and she can't believe that didn't fall.
4 birdies and 5 bogeys. She's usually not that inconsistent.
It's been that way just about every day.
And she's gotten off to slow starts and has been able to rebound, but having a tough time all day in this 4th round. And the American Century Championship comes your way Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time on NBC. All the usual suspects: Michael Jordan, Tony Romo, Charles Barkley, from a great venue there along the shores of Lake Tahoe.
It's like a major championship for them.
Crown jewel of celebrity golf, Johnny. And this, the biggest they play in women's golf. Paula Creamer with a 2-shot lead over Brittany Lang, but Lang's having problems at 15. Over the 13th, we've got Amy Yang with a 6-iron.
this ball out well right, trying to drop back and not coming.
Almost looked like she got lazy on that one.
Certainly didn't finish as high and as balanced as she has a few irons that we've seen her play prior.
A big putt for Lang here to try to save the bogey.
Be interesting to look at the pacing of this putt. When she gets a little tense, tight, and starts overthinking it, it looks to me as if her tempo of the putter gets a little short and a little quick.
Lang said she was looking forward to seeing how she would feel and perform in the heat of this U.S. Women's Open. She's been hanging around the top of the leaderboard all week after taking the first round lead with a 69. And has worked especially hard on her putting the last year and a half.
On the top 10 this year, has been in the season's first major.
Got it. So she drops one. Only 2 3-putt greens this week for Brittany Lang, as no one has fewer, so she's been pretty solid, but loses a shot there, falls 3 behind Creamer, and Creamer over at the 13th. Roger.
And Paula has selected 6-iron here. It feels like wind may be helping her ever so slightly back here at the tee.
You think she knows how she stands to the field, Roger?
Well, there's a lot of scoreboards out here. I don't know that she knows this very second. There's not a scoreboard near 12 green or around this tee box. There is one short right of the 13th green. She's got a pretty good idea.
Hit greens right now. Roger to get it on the green for the next few holes.
Oh, shaping it right to left. This jumps right to the hole.
Oh, is that a beauty?
That's the best shot we've seen.
Had to be a little question mark in her mind too. That was the first full swing she had to make since we saw that big wince hole with the 3-wood back there.
Just a little shake out of the wrist after this shot.
This might be the shot of the day. This is Meg Birdie here. Got a nice cushion.
Especially what happened at the 12th. After she had the problems and then the wrist hurting her at the previous hole. A look at the impact here as she comes down. Ooh, it takes a little jolt.
And that's why you have, wrist damage in golf. Is it just a lot of shock at impact, and you hit thousands of balls a week, and it's tough.
She is tough. Back over to 17.
And Na Yoon Choi will be playing her second shot here at the short par 4.
And Gary's opted to take the putter just about 4 or 5 feet off the front edge, so about a 50-foot putt. Have some right to left break in it.
You like this play, Jane?
I do. The fringes are just perfect to putt from.
Fringes are only rolling at about 9.5 on the stimp meter.
Look at this. Oh. A little runaway right behind the hole, but that's a good lead. Cutting back uphill from there. So Paula Creamer coming back after the bogey at the 12th with a beautiful tee shot at 13. Can she make birdie? Stay with us.
Back out to the 16th.
And Brittany Lang on the tee with a 3 hybrid club in her hand. She's going to have to really smack this if she's going to get it anywhere near back to the hole.
I think she's just playing it to the left.
Well, yeah, but John, if you just barely get it on the green, you've got a tough 2-putt from there. That's up and over a couple little knobs and very difficult to judge the speed. As we go to 14.
And Suzann Pettersen for birdie needs to start making a move. Not able to get anything to drop.
Hasn't matched the speed and the line very well. The stroke looks pretty darn good.
She'll stay at +3 4 back. This was a moment ago at 13. Amy Yang. Yang also at that +3 number. A chance to stay 4 back. Yang was just one off of Lang's first round lead with an opening round 70.
There's that little flip-up shot you talked about, Donnie.
Yeah, it comes up so nice and soft, and it's got some spin on it. Look how good that shot is. You can see the ball spinning in the air.
17.
See if Choi can make birdie here at the easy par 4 17th. And Jie Shin missed her eagle opportunity, but did tap in for a birdie to move to +4 for the championship. That's 2 under par in her final round.
Gary, I would give this about 3.5 to 4 feet. Good news is she hopefully would have paid attention as it was going past the hole with her first putt and should know the break.
Winner last week, Jamie Farr, Onyx Corning Classic in Toledo.
Keep it inside the hole.
Yep, she's got it. 6th birdie of the day. So she moves to +1 for the championship. Now just 2 off the lead, and Creamer has some tough holes left to play.
Wonderful crowds here this week. That grandstand full. They have nearly doubled up the crowds that they had here in 1992 for Sunday's final round. That to the right of the 13th. See the hillside up to the right of 14 full as well.
We had such a great leaderboard. Paula Creamer is sort of the Arnold Palmer of women's golf at the moment. And, you know, it's great to see her playing well, and nice story.
Yeah, everybody loves a comeback story, too.
Yang for par now to stay at +3, 4 off of Creamer's lead.
Has been in 8 bunkers this week. 4 today. Is yet to get one up and in.
Not the hardest putt in the world, is it?
Uphill, should move a little right.
Read it.
She'll drop to +4. This was a moment ago. Lexi Thompson at 14 after a beautiful second shot. Can't convert it.
There's a weakness. It's that. Putting hasn't quite caught up with the rest of her game.
Look at Colin Can, Paula Creamer's caddy, get down there and read this putt. This will be some birdie after what happened at 12 and give herself even more cushion.
You see him motioning to where he believes the fall line of the green is. Try to find the straightest angle and then move from where that is to your ball.
Talk about the toughness and the competitiveness of Paula Creamer. Talking with her dad today, he says Paula got a lot of that from his mother, her grandmother, who she was very close to growing up. They played all sorts of board games, card games. And when I asked Paul, when did you first notice that competitiveness? He said that was it. She doesn't like to lose at anything, and it's just stayed with her in the game of golf. Very close to her grandmother, who passed away 7 years ago. But her grandfather, Thomas, watching from Ithaca, New York at the age of 92.
Well, she bogeyed the par 5 4th. Came back with the birdie on the next. Now bogeyed the par 5 12th. See if she can do it again.
Rod, she'll tell you that's the stat she keeps an eye on really closely and is most proud of when it turns out in her favor.
This for a 3-stroke lead over Choi. Boy, she wanted that. 3 strokes is quite a bit different from 2.
16.
Brittany Lang putting from the very front edge of the green, hole cut back on some 29 paces. So, okay, this putt almost 90 feet.
Yeah, I figure it a good 85-footer. And uphill initially, then swinging left to right.
Very difficult to get the speed correct. Hit it a little bit and underread the break dramatically, so she's got a long putt left for a par. We go to 18.
And this is a big shot for Na Yun Choi, just a couple back of Creamer.
She's made 3 pars here this week.
Such an important tee shot, and she seemed to like it, not watching it. And boy, that was a good start to this tough, 3rd toughest hole on the course.
This was the same hole where Angel Cabrera just busted his drive down the 18th hole on his way to winning the U.S. Open back here in 2007. Paula Creamer has gone through a lot this week. A lot of golf, up early here at the golf course late with the weather that arrived here on Friday. And this is one tough woman here who we're watching here dealing with that thumb surgery and hanging in there.
Well, she wants it so badly. Of course, speaking with our leader, Paula Creamer, and with her 8 wins at 23, she's on sort of a pace for a Hall of Fame type career if she can start winning some majors with the regular wins. And this one, she would not want to let another one go, right?
No, certainly, but I think she does have one really good thing in her favor. Of the last 4 holes on the golf course, she has played 3 of them under par this week. That is something that very few players have done.
You can see the 8 LPGA Tour wins, most without a major, tied with Rachel Hetherington and Mi Hyun Kim. So just 23 years old, has done a lot of winning out here in a very short period of time, but you do not want these near misses in these championships to pile up anymore.
And with Choi maybe set to make par on the last hole, she's got to play some golf to win this championship, because only got a 2-stroke lead with someone in the clubhouse maybe at +1.
Wendy Ward in this group plays first, and Rogers on the scene.
It's a good looking tee shot going down to the left side a bit.
Nice swing there. Right up plane.
That'll be fine.
37-year-old veteran has really righted the ship after starting off with a triple. She's played even par golf since the opening problems. Paula Creamer is next. Look at her line, pretty solid.
Well, not a tough hole if you drive it in the fairway.
Yep, it was an easy hole location.
It's going up the right-hand side.
Ooh, it's started to get a kick left, but that hides down there in the thick rough.
Is not going to let her play an offensive sort of shot into this green. She's going to have to take what the lie gives her, and maybe what the opening in the front of the green will give her.
And what her wrist can withstand. It's going to test her wrist. See if she leaves that face open at impact. Yep. And then it squares up. Just a little late with the squaring up.
Up at 16.
Where Brittany Lang faces a difficult putt for a par 3 to remain at +2.
She's got to make this.
Yeah, it's a tough putt to read. Johnny Ball actually tends to want to go toward the back of the green. It's very hard to tell.
Doesn't look like she's aiming for it.
No, she got it over there.
Oh, that didn't do anything.
Stayed pretty straight, but that's a 3-putt bogey at a very inopportune time. She will drop to +3 as we go to 18.
Good look at the hole location. One of the toughest holes here through all these championships, through all these years at Oakmont. Na Yeon Choi with a good drive has a good look here.
Good lie, just on a little bit of an upslope. 74 to the front, 198 to the hole. Hybrid.
194 yards to get it on the proper deck.
Didn't like it.
Now it's going left.
High standards.
She's got such a good accurate game that's a big hole for her.
Choi the closest to Creamer, who inches closer to that elusive first Women's Open title. '65th United States Women's Open continues in the middle of the back nine here on Championship Sunday, and this happened while we were away. Christina Kim second at 15. +5, 6 off the lead.
In the air.
Second toughest
Just a
fairway
couple
to
inches.
hit, so she's ahead of the ball game already.
She'll do a little talking. That's a shot.
Now that looks like Cabrera's shot in there in 2007.
The one that he looked at in almost disbelief. It came so close. Ended up being a tap in for Cabrera on his way to victory. Now Creamer over at 14. What about this lie, Roger?
A bit of a bird's nest lie. The grass is not super deep, but I don't believe she's going to be able to get any spin on the ball. 110 to the front, 118 to the hole. You just got to try to figure out how you can land it the right distance and get it to release. But it could put a little pressure on her thumb.
You can see that flagstick is just sitting there for the taking.
Drove the ball so well to start the round. Now she's missed the last 2 fairways.
Pick it up and get on it quick without going through all the grass.
And she made good contact and it's on a good line.
Man, what a good
what a shot. Very, very nice there. Controlled beautifully.
You want to be steep on that shot, Roger.
17.
Brittany Lang on the tee here again. The par 4, 229 yards, does play considerably uphill, and it is a blind shot. But Brittany Lang certainly with the length to reach this hole in one.
This morning when she played this hole, she mishit her tee shot, came up short left in the rough, but managed to get it up and down for a birdie.
What is the line about right here?
Yeah, I think that's it, John. Just left of the tower. You can see some 37 feet uphill from the teeing ground to the putting surface.
Definitely don't want to miss it left.
Short left is not bad. Long left is no good.
Well, that grass is a little more favorable for the girls than it was for the guys, but wow, what an awful miss that is.
Total mishit
That
there.
was a huge mishit.
You know, she had said early in the week her strategy at 17 was going to be to play a 5-iron or short iron off the tee and hit a wedge in. She changed that strategy there, and it not good. All right, back at 16, IK Kim.
Needs a great finish.
Tee shot with a 3 hybrid club. All right, will it roll to the right? No. Just creep into the intermediate cut of rough.
Well, here at Oakmont for the second time, a look at the future sites of this championship. Off of the Broadmoor again, Colorado Springs, and then it's off the Black Wolf Run where Se-Ri Pak won in 1998 to ignite that explosion of Korean players on the tour. Then it's to Sabonik on Long Island. Pinehurst, they'll go back-to-back in the U.S. Open and the U.S. Women's Open that year. And if you're interested in heading to Colorado for the 66th edition, you can get on to 2011 USWomen'sOpen.com for tickets right now.
That'll be pretty also, Broadmoor.
Out to 15, and Suzann Pettersen running out of holes here. 4 off the lead. Needs to start rolling them in.
If Paula Creamer does win, she'll probably want to kiss Suzann's putter for letting her do that, because Suzann definitely played the best tee to green.
Yeah,
she should have won this championship really with just okay putting.
Yeah, the class of the ball striking, no doubt. But I still get the sense if she could see one go in, it might change the whole outlook for her.
She's got to at least get to +1. So, you know, one of these has got to go in either this hole or 18 and birdie 17, which is pretty easy for her if she hits a good shot.
Much more fidgeting today over the putter than there has been throughout the week. She's been pretty clean and concise.
Just has not got the touch.
I mean, she literally hasn't made a thing today. And you can see her putting this week. 34, 35, 34, and 26 already today.
Well, Paula Creamer getting ready, leaving nothing to chance here at Oakmont. A lot of the players getting their first look at this incredible, difficult golf course. A year ago, Paula Creamer's agent called us up at NBC to request DVDs of the third and final rounds of the 2007 U.S. Open here at Oakmont to get an idea of Oakmont and championship condition and an idea of the breaks and nuances that the men dealt with. And I would say it's a pretty good move.
Well, if that stuff is out there, why wouldn't you look at it?
And little did you know that 17 of the 18 hole locations would be identical to the final round in 2007. USGA just put them in the same spots.
You know, the thought was to see how the women would perform on a relatively to strength to ball speed to spin comparable golf course, and they've got it.
That is a 3-shot lead for Creamer.
That's a good birdie out of the rough.
4 holes left.
This white putter has been the difference for her. It might be number 1 or 2 in putting this week.
It's white hot right now. What a turnaround by Creamer after the flinching of the wrist on 12, which led to her second bogey, and you had an idea at that point that you didn't know if she was going to hang on to this back nine, but the par at 13, birdie at 14, and it's within her sights.
See how emotional Paul is already getting at the realization it might be a win.
And don't go there too soon.
Jie Shin for birdie at 18 a moment ago.
Oh man, are you kidding me? That is fantastic.
She knows it.
#1 player in the world. Before Ai Miyazato took it away, and then Christy Kerr, who's the present #1.
She popped to the top right after Lorena retired.
How about that finish? 3 birdies in the last 4 holes for Shin. 68, third best round of this championship, and now a big putt for Choi.
It does go right, coming up the hill all the way. It'll break right, Dottie.
It is slow to start and then gains a little speed.
It's not a huge break, but it does move right the whole way. She hit it.
Yeah, she did not.
Even close.
That's a classic putt when you're really under a lot of pressure. You just sort of freeze on it.
It's going to make it easier for Creamer down the stretch, maybe with a bogey there at 18. Now laying at 17.
And an incredibly difficult second shot out of this fairway bunker, about, what, 50, 60 yards from the hole?
56 yards to the hole. Had to have her caddy give her the line. She cannot see the flagstick from where she's hitting from.
Don't want to go long, do you?
No.
Took out like a lot of golf ball.
Oh, that's not good.
You might have bid on that bank, but I don't know.
It's still not an easy up and down from there.
That's what I mean. It got that big side hill line, maybe.
Only about 3 paces of green. We'll go back to the 16. Natalie Gulbis with a chance for a birdie 2. A.K. Kim has played a nice pitch down and has a short putt for a par. This one should move to her right. There we go. First birdie of the day for Natalie Gulbis. Just the 3rd birdie recorded here at 16 all day.
Got a great attitude.
Over to 15.
And Christina Kim for birdie. Didn't move.
Never looked at the putt till it didn't clunk.
Part of a playoff, which Na Yun Choi won last week. Kim was in, and now at the 15th hole with a 3-shot lead.
A blind tee shot. Going to hit it right down the strip there, and she has done that. Just split that little 6-foot strip.
Well, that's a bonus. Less than half of the players have hit this fairway this week, and I think that would catch a touch of a white line if it was right up the middle.
You know, I think it's really cool. The USGA does that on these blind tee shots. Puts it, this, you know, the walking area right where you want to hit it. So you have, you know, if you hit it over that strip, you got a good one.
Well, this to post the number that Creamer will have to beat, most likely. Choi to stay at +1.
And it's just that awkward length, about 6 feet, 5 to 6 feet, just enough to make your bones seriously shake, Johnny.
Yeah, that's what you want, though, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That's what all professionals practice for.
She hasn't missed a putt in a long time. I mean, this length putt, she's made every one I've seen the last couple hours.
She had that one costly 3-putt on this back 9 that kind of took the steam out of her charge that she started.
Game went out in 5 under 31. Eagle at the 9th has cooled off. Even par golf in the back.
Most likely at least second placed.
So that is the number right now. That's one.
Look at that round.
66 for Choi. So all of a sudden we're seeing some rounds in the 60s. That's the 2nd best round of the championship for Na Yun Choi, who will begin to wait to see if it's good enough. But Paula Creamer right now with a 3-shot lead with 4 holes to play. The latest birdie coming at 14 to get it back to 2 under.
Welcome back at the 16th. Suzann Pettersen on the tee with a 3 hybrid club.
Stay in the air.
Well, she's yelling for it to stay in the air. It's on line, and it does. Beautiful tee shot. Leaves an uphill putt for a birdie from there. We go up to 17. Brittany Lang, third shot here at the short par 4. This is not an easy shot, Johnny. Very little green to work with.
It's almost 8 feet deep, and that's the best way to stop it. Hit the flag.
That's still 15 feet or so for par. Back to 15.
And we're taking a deep breath. Par golf, and then some. Cushion gets it done down the stretch here.
She only missed one fairway. Well, two. She missed the last one by a foot. A couple feet.
Look at her card. Came into this final round 3 clear of Wendy Ward, who was faded. Bogey, couple of birdies on the opening 9. The wrist hurt her badly on her second shot at the par 5 12. Made a bogey, but then came back with a par and a birdie since. Seems to have restored her confidence.
The side hill line, Dottie. You gotta somehow make it go towards the target.
Just give yourself enough room to hit the normal shot, the shot that should come from the slide.
It actually is, Roger, one of the biggest targets, isn't it?
Well, it is, and it's quite wide. It was an important tee shot to get in the fairway, certainly. She's done that. Now only has 151 left to the hole, 143 front. You're trying to land it somewhere around the front, and a little bit left. The hole should work a little right.
She's looking like 12, 15 feet left to the ball.
Here with that signpost for the 16th tee would be just beautiful.
Come on.
It's just left to the hole. Nice shot. How about this?
That's nice. Yeah, Cabrera's spot. The big tag. That's kind of the same kind of incredulous look that Paula has on right now. That, boy, things are going my way.
And where she's standing, it looks like a leaner. That was a nice.
Come on. Come on.
Right below the hole. And Paula, through those shades, was watching it all the way. Chance for back-to-back birdies to increase the lead. Lang at 17.
This for par. Turning to her left. All right, good save, but a hole she needed to birdie. So Brittany Lang finds herself 5 off Paula Creamer's lead. Creamer with the spectacular second shot at 15. Big smile on her face. Is she striding toward a U.S. Women's Open Championship? We'll find out.
It's the most coveted trophy in women's golf. The U.S. Women's Open has been won by most of the greats through the years, through the decades. Hall of Famers, emotional breakthrough champions like Christy Kerr just a few years ago. And here at Oakmont, on the toughest golf course they have ever faced, coming off the wrist surgery from 3.5 months ago, Paula Creamer has done everything right so far to finally pick up that U.S. Women's Open title. After failing the last couple of years, that trophy could be in her hands in just a little while from now. For her first major breakthrough, lead is 3. She just stepped it at 15, has a chance to open up the lead to a full 4 shots with just 3 holes to play. To 17.
IK Kim on the tee. I think this young lady would have to really catch one to get it all the way there. She's got it right in the opening.
Yeah, well, how about a 2 on this par 4?
Very nice. All right, back at 16. Huge putt for Suzann Petterson and Jane Crafter. I know you've hustled over to catch up with this group.
Well, Gary, it looks to me like it has just a little bit of right to left in it. Not a whole lot. Very, very makeable, clearly.
This putt that doesn't break, Gary?
It won't break much, John. Very, very straight from here. She hit it firmly enough. Finally, Suzann Petterson gets one in. So she's at +2, and she certainly has the length to drive the next hole. And we talk about this 17th and what can happen here. Here's Sophie Gustafson with a 3-wood, one of the longer hitters on the LPGA Tour.
Boy, some speed there.
Yeah.
Nice ball. Nice ball.
Well, they like it back on the tee.
Oh,
Here's
as
why.
they should, Gary. What?
Look at this.
Looking at a chasing a one.
Look at this. Sophie made a 2 here just the other day, and she's got about a 4-footer for another.
Well, sometimes there are pretty good omens in these championships through the years. And if you look at the previous champions at Oakmont, Angel Cabrera, this was in 2007 from just off the fairway. The man from Argentina, this was the signature shot of that day at this 15th hole where Kramer just stiffed it. And the reaction by Cabrera as if to say, what have I just done? I've got myself in great position to win this championship. And then just a moment ago, Paula Creamer from the same hole at 15.
Same hole location, same width almost.
Jenny, you believe this hole in the final round and up your way to the win in 73. Ernie Els did the same thing in 1994. So what is it about the 15th hole at Oakmont in these championships?
I know from looking at her face, known her for a long time, that she is sort of, it's not battling, but just the emotions are just coming to the surface. You can see it, and she's performing great, but such an exciting moment for her.
Just for a 4-shot lead in the Women's Open. You said you've known her for a few years. She won the Johnny Miller Jr. Classic, which was held at Silverado years ago. 11 or 12 years old. Her dad said that it was a real treat for her to get into the field, much less win it. She won it a couple of times, I think, and you actually presented the trophy to her out there.
Yeah, I did, and you know, I knew she was good, but who knew that she might be looking, it looks like a United States Women's Open champion. It's very exciting.
I think she'll tell you too that the golf course she grew up on at home was very, very hilly. And there's a common denominator among the golf courses that Paula Creamer has won on. She won at Evian, she won at Waikiki, the win at Half Moon Bay, the win here. They are all hilly golf courses that require a lot of imagination and the ability to hit some pretty unstable shots.
That golf course, Castlewood Country Club in Pleasanton, California. She lived on the first hole. Her dad said he couldn't really get her to get to the golf course much other than to take a few golf cart rides. And then when she turned 10 years old, he finally got her to the range. He was heading out of the house, and Paula said, can I come with you? So she hit a few balls. She got kind of hooked on the game, and then at the age of 12, she decided she wanted to check out the David Ledbetter Academy. And her father told me, I didn't know anything about the David Ledbetter Academy, which was on the opposite end of the coast in Florida. He got on the internet, checked it out. They went and took a visit. She loved it. They went a couple of months. They went and took a second visit, ended up moving out to Florida with 4 suitcases and a couple of bags of clubs. And just got hooked on the game, hooked up with her coach, David Whelan, and he has been her coach ever since. But, you know, in this day and age where parents usually are pushing their kids to go to academies, this was all Paula's idea.
She has the passion for it, and well, I'll tell you, the last 3 approach shots that she's hit, just look at those shots. You know, you really should have burned the last 3, Roger.
Absolutely, hit a great shot in at 13, just to miss the putt. Much longer than 5 feet, 6 feet.
Her father was a pilot for American Airlines, and making the move from coast to coast is a big move. He said, I'm not going to break up the family just so you can go to this academy. So he actually had to be transferred by the airline from San Francisco to Miami to make it all work. What she'll do for your kids to make their dreams come true.
Well, she wants a safe par, Gary.
That was a 5-wood. Another beauty. I tell you what a performance, Johnny, on this back nine. Shot after shot.
That was our first 4 shots in a row.
Making her mom and dad proud today on the threshold of winning the biggest championship, the U.S. Women's Open. Beautiful, unique clubhouse at Oakmont in the background, hosting its 15th USGA Championship, 2nd Women's Open title on the line here. Patty Sheehan winning the first back in 1992 in a playoff with Julie Inkster. Paula Creamer beginning to pull away from the field here. 4-shot lead, has just been hitting one spectacular shot after another on this back nine as we go to 17.
And Dan, this was just a moment ago. IK Kim for an eagle 2. Just over 40 feet. Had the line, just lacked a little speed. Sophie Gustafson for the Eagle 2. Made an eagle on this hole yesterday, drove it on the green and made it from about 30 feet. There you go. That's what can happen here at the 17th. Finally something good for her. She moves back to +9 for the championship.
Talking about these incredible shots on this difficult golf course down the stretch, Johnny, you've watched a lot of golf through the years on a lot of difficult golf courses. This is about as impressive as it gets here.
It is, because this is a very difficult hole location, isn't it, Dottie? Way left, and she just takes dead aim.
It is, and I think important to remember she had just come off what looked like a really wobbly bogey at the 12th.
And this shot, I thought might hurt her wrist. She picks it up real quickly, comes down on it, and traps it right at the target. A very important shot right here. Chases it on, makes that putt right there for 2 birdies in a row.
And the lead had swelled to 3. And in this one we just showed you at 15.
Big side hill lie, trying to keep it about 50 feet left of the target, and just sort of moves it into the right. And for Donna,
yeah, it's a hole where you really have to hit 2 perfect golf shots to set up an opportunity, and she did it.
That for the 4-shot lead, and then at 16.
Probably the best of the 4. I mean, this shot here, nobody's getting it close all day long. And hits it, comes down softly, just plays the break, and says, thank you very much.
Talk about the miscues in the previous Women's Open. I think what she said after that meltdown at Interlaken, Donnie, she said, my favorite word is patience. Everybody dreams about winning the Open. And at the time, she said, I got wrapped up in it. I didn't think about the things I should have thought about. I truly know I got in my own way. I learned how to realize next time I'm in that situation, I should have been able to see it coming. So sometimes you have to kind of walk through the gauntlet before you win these big titles.
Without a doubt.
How about this putt?
Yeah, Johnny, Brittany had a very nice drive down the right side. Got it on the putting surface, yes, but she was close to 75 feet away. Just cut through a big trough, big left to right break.
It's kind of what you love about when you're a kid, you know. It's just a lot of imagination that goes along, and then drops down into a big valley, and then shoots up to the right of the bank.
They were the ones you made at sunset when nobody was around, and you danced around like a fool when you made them.
Much like Paula Creamer, Brittany Lane's dad introduced her to the game. She bugged to get to the golf course. In fact, when her dad came home from work, she said, take a look at my swing in the yard. And finally, it just kept being grooved and grooved. And here she is playing for a living on the LPGA Tour at 17.
Suzanne Petterson with a 3-wood.
Somebody liked it, Gary.
Well, I think the line is good. Will it be far enough? The wind has now come up a little bit, as you can see there, and it's into the players' faces. So up that hill, it's playing a little longer.
Nice shot, though.
It's very well positioned. Well, flying high above us today at Oakmont Country Club, you can see the MetLife blimp. Find out why millions of Americans look to MetLife every day to get guarantees for the if in life. Visit MetLife.com.
That is a different wind than the players have faced there at the 17th and 18th as well.
Just a beautiful day here outside the Pittsburgh area. Just some light, white, fluffy clouds. And a lot of blue sky.
It's a treat to be here, isn't it?
Yes, it's a wonderful, wonderful venue.
Walter Higgins said this is the epitome of championship golf. This golf course right here.
I think the girls playing here is going to make them better. When you play a track like this, you'll know if you can play. Everything else looks pretty simple when you look at it in comparison.
You know, there were so many horror stories about what the finishing score was here at the first part of the week. You know, oh, somebody's going to win at +8, +9, +10. Well, we got a lot of players not near that highest score, and the leader right now sitting at 3 under.
Remember, it was 4 under here the last time the Women's Open was played in 1992, so we're on par for that.
Well, the greens aren't holding today, though. Yeah, that's been the big difference. Is tees are up, the greens are holding, and a great play.
17, Lexi Thompson. 3-wood. That should be plenty of club water. There we go. That'll chase onto the putting surface, so a chance for an eagle 2.
Just amazing how straight the women hit their fairway woods. Just in the woods. Just, it's incredible. I mean, that's a tiny little opening there.
Yes, it is. It's about 8 yards wide, Johnny, by my count.
On a blind tee shot.
All right, we'll go back to 16, and Creamer with a chance for a birdie too. Amy Yang hit a beautiful shot in there too, but unable to take advantage of it.
Even after hitting a beautiful shot like that, Gary, I mean, it's still a tricky little putt. Going to have to get it off the hole on the left-hand side, even from this little distance, I believe, if you hit it the right speed. And, you know, this golf course just doesn't let up, ever.
Trying to stay in that moment.
Yeah, take your time, take a deep breath. Just
trying to get that line on her ball where she wants it.
Calm yourself as much as you can.
I saw her back on the tee with that kind of starting to gurgle a little, starting to enjoy it, and then she put the cap right back on it. Time to get back to business.
Pushed.
Yeah, that was the miss we saw toward the end of the third round. She has several putts to the right. Never quite squared the putt face up, but still a very good par on a very tough hole. The lead is still 4.
Well, coming up, there's more action to look forward to. Head over to NBC.com for a more colorful look at Undercovers. It's a new drama coming this fall to NBC. Back out to 17.
And Suzanne Pettersen's second shot. Jane?
Gary, she actually hit 5 wood. I think she didn't judge the wind correctly. Couldn't feel much of it down at the tee. But it really did gust up when she hit, and it came up, I'd say about 8 paces short of the green.
Good time to pull it out, Gary.
Yes, it would.
There's never a bad time to haul it out, Johnny, is there?
No, right there.
That's how stable her foundation is when she chips. There's just no movement.
Oh, very aggressive.
Wow. A lot of click there.
Her head came up awful quick, I know that. Very curious too early.
Up at 18.
And Brittany Lang for par.
She sure
+3.
made it interesting, Dan, for a little while today. Just kind of petered out.
Breaks to the right.
What a 2-putt.
Solid from where she was. So the first round leader with a closing round 69 matching her round on Thursday. And we'll keep it here for Christy Kerr. Looked early on in this championship. Dottie, you and Johnny both called her the favorite. She looked like the favorite earlier on until Creamer kind of took charge.
Well, she had a stretch yesterday on the front 9 with back-to-back doubles where she was pretty well rattled. Made another double at the 10th and tried to dig her way out, but just way too deep.
The stroke is sort of falling apart. Normally that's his strength.
Absolutely.
Pair of 75s in the 3rd and 4th rounds.
Back at 17, Lexi Thompson with a chance for a 2, par 4. Turn to the left, toward the back of the green, and slightly back up the hill. Never quite struck firmly enough, but to say a lot for this 15-year-old youngster who double bogeyed the first hole and has managed to play even par since then. And I guess a little bit of a decision for Paula Creamer back on the tee.
It's a hard layup if you want to lay it up.
Well, especially from this new front tee, Johnny. It's very awkward. The layup is actually blind. You play to a very crowned fairway, and if you go a little too far to the left, the ball kicks left toward these bunkers that you'll see, and if you go just slightly too far to the right, the fairway slants and runs the ball into the rough.
Still got to lay up, don't you?
I don't know. I mean, you've got enough club with a driver certainly to carry it over all of these bunkers that you're looking down at, the 5 that guard the left-hand side.
I'm her caddy. I'm telling her to lay up.
We'll see. We'll go to 18.
And Natalie Gulbis in her second. 17.
All right, Raj, you won, buddy. She's laying up.
I could be her caddy.
There you go.
Thought you were going to run in there and tackle the bag if she had a driver out, Raj.
No, I just think this is the play. I really do.
Well, it holds.
Nice ball.
It's going to kick just into the intermediate cut of rough, so lie should not be an issue.
Good shot.
Up to 18.
Min Kyung Kim in her second, coming off a birdie at 17 at +2. High up on that board right now.
I'll say.
In a tie for third.
A little chip shot there.
A one-hander coming up.
Get the scooter up there, but she did a nice job of it. It might be a little warm, but that is pretty darn good.
Very clever. I like that little shot.
She'll have a chance to tie Na Yun Choi's +1 number, which is in solo second right now. Back to 17.
And Suzann Pettersen looking at, I'm sure, Jane, a much longer putt for a birdie than she anticipated.
Well, Gary, I was just going to ask you your thoughts. I think I might have putted it from there. These fringes are so smooth and they're so tight. Very difficult to really judge your chip shots well. And, you know, when you're nervous and under a lot of pressure, you can easily end up where she has ended up.
Do you think that was influenced by the fact that she's not made anything today until the 16th hole?
Well, that is a possibility. But now she's faced with 18 feet downhill.
Be firm enough.
A bit of an early head movement there, Gary.
Yeah, that I think has been pretty typical, Jane. When you miss a lot of putts, you're anxious to see if one might be going in, and often when that happens, you don't strike the putt very solidly. So disappointment for Suzann Pettersen there at 17. Paula Creamer marching to victory, it appears, in the Women's Open. We'll be right back.
The champions at Oakmont. Beginning back in 1990, it's the only course to host USGA events won by the great Bobby Jones, Ben Hogan, and Jack Nicklaus. Through 8 U.S. Opens, 5 U.S. Amateurs, Oakmont has been the site of legendary figures, legendary achievements. 2 U.S. Women's Opens here now. The first won by Patty Sheehan back in 1992. Ernie Els won his first of 2 U.S. Opens here in '94, and then the latest from Argentina, Angel Cabrera. The latest title at stake here, and the 16th USGA title looks like it'll go to Paula Creamer, who will win her first major championship, but still has some work left here on the last couple of holes. And this was happening while we were away, Gary.
It was. Yang with her tee shot using a 3-wood. Talked about the club head speed that she's able to generate.
Be good.
Come on, be right. She says be good, and it was. Flew it right to the front edge of the green. Gets it to release back toward the hole within 12 feet. Great chance for Nico too.
Gary, you've had a pretty cool seat there at the 17th
I tell
today.
you what, it is an exciting hole, Dottie, and it comes at a wonderful point in the championship in my mind. Gives the players a lot of options.
I just can't believe how many great shots we're seeing on this tough. It's just very narrow and it's blind. So, of course, speaking about narrow, we're here at 18, third hardest hole in the course, sometimes the hardest hole.
Suzann Pettersen.
Playing up about 30 yards from where it was yesterday.
Go left.
Now this one's starting down the middle, trying to work a tad to the right, but solid shot.
Wonderful tee shot there.
Fairway slopes left to right, but that'll be fine on the right side.
She has driven that golf ball so well this week, and I thought that would be her key, not the putting.
Back at 17.
Creamer and her caddy Colin Can discussing the situation, and Roger, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward shot.
Yes, it is. She and Wendy Ward have virtually the same distance left. I don't know that they've looked at each other and determined who might play first, but Paula's drawn a very good lie just off the edge of the fairway here. I mean, it even takes the chunk out of it from the tightly mown area of the fairway. So a good angle. I think she needs to hit the ball right of the hole, give herself a little room should the ball go long. Biggest danger, she's got to avoid the front bunker, obviously, and the back left. You don't want any part of. So a little bit right of the hole, and pretty straightforward wedge.
That big deep bunker you see right there guarding the front of the green, called Big Mouth by the members here. It's about 10 feet deep, and you're right, you don't want any part of that.
It's funny to watch her body language. She's just so emotional right now, just incredibly flushed in the face and different body language than normal. And you can tell it's like, I can't believe I'm actually going to do this. You know,
a lot of deep breaths.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, look at her face. It's, got a real emotional look to it. But she's performing like off the charts.
Johnny, I really think this has been, at least to this point, kind of the final maturing process in her career. I mean, she's owned her swing, she's owned her emotions, she's played beautiful golf, and hasn't been caught up in the moment.
It's fun to watch people execute, isn't it, Gary? When
yeah, it really is.
When there's a lot of pressure and doing something they've never done before.
It's about the 4th or 5th time we've seen her back off, and each time she's wiping the palm of her right hand, probably a little extra sweat there, and that happens.
We said there were going to be tears of disappointment or tears of joy. So into this, so desperately wants it.
Going way up in the air, right to the hole. Executed.
Probably right where she was aiming.
She likes that one. Tiptoeing through a jangling of nerves, Gary.
The Roger Maltby School of Golf Management.
Oh, another one on.
Sigh of relief. Yeah. Even though it was only 75 yards, a lot could have gone wrong there. We go to 18.
IK Kim, the 2005 U.S. Girls Junior Champion. Very quick ball. Has finished tied for 3rd in each of the last 2 Women's Opens. And IK here going to finish in at +2 here. Another high finish. In fact, remember, she was tied for the lead with 1 hole to play last year at Saucon Valley before finishing with a bogey.
I watched her play a practice round, and I have to say she spent the most time chipping around these greens of any of the players I saw. From just throw the ball into the long stuff and hit the unexpected shot. She really did a nice job preparing.
Looks like she's got Na Yun Choi's pants on there, just in the
shorter version.
And Gulbis now.
Big week for her. Last year she did not qualify to play in the Women's Open at Saucon Valley, and I think there was a lot of questions about a player like this not being in the field, a player like Michelle Wie not being in the field last year. They got the best into this championship field this year. Players just played their way in.
Can't have a better putt out than this, I can tell you that. Straight up the hill, maybe a tiny break to the left, but pretty straight. Should be able to make this, I think. Good putt. This doesn't break. I was trying to make it break, but it was great.
Gulbis at age 27, still the 1 win coming back to the 2007 Evian Masters, which came in her 151st start, but this will be her best result of the year, and a tie for 15th.
This has such a great attitude. It's nice to see.
Back at 17.
And it appears that Paula Creamer will be next to putt at Raj if she does go on to win this Women's Open, which it certainly appears she will. She has played the par 4s in 5 under par this week, and that is pretty remarkable on this golf course.
Golf in your ball.
It really is.
You don't do that from the rough around here either.
Well, she's driven it just like Ben Hogan today. I'm telling you, just one hiccup on 12 on Roger, and that was everything else has been great.
And that wasn't a bad miss. It ended up in a bad spot, but she didn't miss her mark by much. I'm sure she was trying to drive the ball up the left side of that fairway because it slopes so hard left to right. So it really has been very impressive from the tee.
What's this do, Gary or Raj?
I would think it's slightly downhill from here. It would move just a little bit to her left. Is that what you see, Gary?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Raj, there's not a tremendous amount of break in it now.
No.
Cozy it down there with option to drop. That was quick.
to 18.
And IK Kim getting it +2. Another high finish for her. Back out to 18. Look at this marvelous view from behind Pedersen up at the clubhouse. Second shot from 174.
Well, you can see that ball trying to cut toward the flagstick.
Good shot, hits that bank and pops up just where you want it, straight in putt.
Another great example of what we've been seeing from Pedersen all week long. Back to 17.
And the eagle putt now for Amy Yang. Raj, pretty similar line to Creamer's putt.
Pretty much the same putt here, Gary.
Just a tie for second at the moment.
Yes, nicely done. And the +2 for the championship. Very nice. Moves into a tie for third with Pedersen and IK Kim.
She looks like a star.
I tell you what, that's a very good golf swing. Creates a lot of speed, as we saw there, hitting that 3-wood right up there next to the hole. Roger, this one creep a little farther by than she would have liked?
Yes.
Honest answer.
I'm thinking at this point in time, 2 or 3 inches by would be a little, yeah, a little further by than she wanted to hit. Just not a tough putt now. Slightly uphill, inside the hole.
Okay, safely in. Well played hole. She will head to the final 2. 4-shot lead.
Well, that stretch of great approach shots sure made this walk a lot easier going to the 18th tee.
Going through the sea of crowd. You mentioned Arnold Palmer earlier, Johnny. The Arnold Palmer of this tour. 2 other guys really come to mind when you try to equate the popularity of a Paula Creamer. She's like the Phil Mickelson of the regular tour, the Fred Couples now of the Champions Tour. They're clearly the 3 most popular players on their respective tours right now as Lexi Thompson comes in here to 18.
Maybe a future superstar.
Yep.
They've got 285 yards guys up to 18th tee.
Her distance, if she keeps improving, she could just take over the women's tour. It's very possible if she keeps improving.
Here it is, this straightaway par 4 at 18.
Yeah, it's playing 430 today. It's played up to even farther than that. The tee is up, and that takes this bunker on the left. It's been such a problem, a little out of play, but still a tough fairway to hit, left to right slope. And then the hole location's in sort of the right side there, and it's a great straight hole. It's hard to make a great straight hole, but this is one of them. It's great design. You can see the water in the old design. It always have little avenues for the water to get off the greens on these. The base of it is out of clay, and then there's just dirt on top of them. So they had to have a lot of tilt to get the water up. Second toughest hole today.
We should look at Yang, who's beginning to play more golf over here in the United States. Got into this field based on her 45th position on the money list last year. Top 50 on the money list getting into the Women's Open. And that one top way off the mark.
And there's some deep bunkers, and she'll have to lay it up probably short of the cross bunker from there, even if she's got, unless she's got the most perfect lie in history, but I don't see any way to go for the green. Taking a couple hard swishes here just to get the whatever out, cobwebs out of Dottie.
I'm thinking there's not many cobwebs there right now. There might be a few emotions.
Just the nervousness.
Sweaty palms.
Yeah.
But she has thought her way very clearly throughout, especially these last 2 days. It's taken a long time to play these required rounds. They've been out here forever with the rain delays.
By the end of the day, Dottie, she will have played 52 holes in a little less than 35 hours.
Right up the center, guys.
How about this, the last 2 rounds, Roger?
How about that? That's a tremendous tee shot.
That's just right up the middle, Roger.
She hit 24 out of the last 28 fairways.
Sounds like a recipe for a U.S. Women's Open champion, Paula Creamer, about to realize a lifelong dream. mentioned Fred Couples. He'll be a part of the field along with Tom Watson as they battle it out for the U.S. Senior Open. Fred growing up in the Seattle area where he was first spotted as one of the great talents at a very young age. And Paula Creamer, who's been playing this game a long time and really is what you call a model pro. Just has been tutored so well in the game and really off the course as well by her dad. And speaking of her dad, she's with Kay Cockrell.
Oh, Paul Creamer, I have walked alongside you many years watching your daughter. Can you tell us what this moment is like right now as she goes down the 18th fairway with a 4-shot lead?
Thank God it's 4 shots. I'll say that. I'm glad it's not 1. So I'm just happy for her. She's worked extremely hard and persevered, and people have no idea what she's been through the last 4 months, and this is a big win for her, no doubt about it. It's not over till it's over, but you know, let's get it in the hole.
You guys are so close. You almost feel every beat of her heart as you're walking yourself. What are you feeling at this moment, and what do you think she's going through?
I think I'm numb, you know, quite truthfully. I don't know what I'm thinking. You know, a million different things. I just know how hard she's worked, and I'm just so happy for her.
Well, we'll look forward to watching you give her a big hug on 18. Thanks, Paul.
It'll be a big one.
Thank you, Kay. He mentioned what they've been going through for 4 months as Pedersen has this putt for birdie at 18 to get into a tie with Na Yun Choi. Yeah. Yes! Tie for second now. Pedersen finally gets a putt to drop. A little late, but nonetheless a 69 for Pedersen.
What a well-played championship tee to green.
It was, and birdies at 2 of the last 3. It kind of shows you what's in her gut. It was a real struggle to that point, and she was not going to give up.
The 4th runner-up of the year, but just to follow up on what Paul Creamer was talking about with Paula 4 months ago, he told me that Paula was crying on his shoulder, wondering if she would ever play golf again. That is how serious that wrist injury was, that wrist surgery was. You never know how it's going to turn out. There were no guarantees by the doctors, and imagine what that must have felt like to maybe know that you weren't going to play this game, certainly maybe not at the highest level for the rest of your career. So how special to break through with all of that here at Oakmont. Lexi Thompson, a very makeable putt there, but she's drifted off.
Got a feeling she might have her name etched on this trophy before it's all said and done as well.
As Christina Kim lines up her putt for par, a lot of conversation about Lexi Thompson turning pro, and a lot of mixed opinions about it. Is it too early? I mean, she hasn't even finished high school and she's out here.
Yeah, she's never even really been in a classroom environment. So there's a social element that she is not real accustomed to. There's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of maturation that happens, and it's a pretty tough microscope to do that under.
Christina Kim with a smile on her face with a 73. Boy, 5. Good week for her.
Consistent. 72, 72, 72, 73. That's very well played.
Well, really good weeks for her. She lost in a playoff in Toledo, and you know that can emotionally zap you when you're coming into a major championship. So good on her.
But we've seen examples of young people in sports that get burned out and turn professional too early. So it is a very delicate thing. But her family, and most of all Lexi Thompson, wanted to turn pro, and so here she is, going to be on the road, traveling, and with the way this LPGA Tour schedule is working now, Dottie, these girls are going around the world.
They are. It's more of an adjustment. They are going to petition the LPGA for early entry. Plans to go to qualifying school. And we'll see what happens.
Another deep breath by Paula after piping her drive, Roger.
Perfect tee shot. 182 left to the hole.
Oh, he's moving. See the guy in the green or the blue shirt back there?
Yeah, it's fine. You can go ahead left of that if you
Well,
want.
it's kind of left of that. Okay.
Just a hair.
Like the guy in the khaki shorts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's move one of those balls.
Cam, her caddy, Anga's old caddy, is really doing a great job making good choices for her, and then she's performed.
The same club that set up that unbelievable birdie there this morning.
And that was key.
That was huge. I think it might have been the shot of the championship for her.
Kept it left. She likes it, I think. Just, Roger, you gotta enjoy this performance. That was
fun to watch.
Yep.
Safely aboard the 18th with a 4-shot lead. Not thrilled with it. Well, as you look at Paula Creamer, Dottie, you alluded to a key shot that was performed by Paula Creamer to finish up this third round earlier today, especially after she'd missed a couple of short putts in the 2 previous holes.
She 3-putted for bogey at the 16th and 3-putted for par at the 17th, but a key drive finds the fairway here and then just traps this hybrid so beautifully. This was the 72nd hole location they used in the 92 Women's Open. Paula puts it in a spot where there is virtually no break, uphill. Goes on to hold this putt to absolutely shake off any nerves there were from the previous 2 holes and take that lead into the last round.
That was a 3-shot lead as she finished up with 5 holes this morning with a third round. So again, a long week. And the shades finally come off for Paula Creamer, who ever since she found out about that academy in Florida and the family moved from the West Coast to the East Coast, this is what she has been waiting for, and probably with all the trouble she has had with her thumb, missed the cut last week, changed medication, and it's all come together here at Oakmont. A model professional, and what I mean by that, has always been a natural at handling all of the attention, as accessible as any professional on this tour, gives thoughtful interviews. It's not all about Paula Creamer. She gives a lot back to this game, very involved in charity work as well. And again, she's just 23 years old.
Actually hosted a really cool fundraiser last year with Arnold Palmer for the Children's Hospital there in Orlando, and it was extraordinarily well received by the professionals who also participated, but by the community itself.
The only child of Paul and Karen Creamer, who poured a lot of efforts into turning their daughter's dream into a reality here.
You know, with this 9th win in the major, she has more than double the total for Beth Daniels, Sorensen, and Ochoa combined at that same age. So, I mean, you're talking about a hot start to a career.
Lives just a street over from her parents, very close with them, obviously. In fact, her dad says he takes care of 2 houses, his own and Paula's.
Why not?
But hey, she learned to bake when she was in this little recovery stage from surgery. Mom and Dad got to do most of the taste testing. It's not a bad deal.
You know, she's a sweet, on one hand, she's very sweet, but she is tough as a competitor. It's an interesting, great combination. A very great personality, but boy, determined. He says, I don't just want to be number 1, I want to stay there.
A girly girl on the other side. I mean, so, you know, all the accessories, that's her own line of sunglasses. She's got all the clothes, travels with plenty of suitcases, Dottie.
She travels with a bunch, but I want to give you just a perspective on how much she wants to beat you when she gets right up to head. She has never lost in singles in Solheim Cup play.
Oh.
She'll just stare you down and say, I'm going to win. I'm going to find a way to win.
It's a well-rounded combination.
Well, Amy Yang at just 20 years old looks like she's going to find plenty of ways to win in her career.
Yeah, I love her game. I mean, she has got that power, that effortless power.
Simple power.
Look at that shot.
First one, eagle at 17.
That looked pretty darn good, Roger.
Would have been a nice little eagle birdie finish. There's a 4-shot though here, so
she hit the bad drive in the right bunker. Yep. It looked like it was in, and I think Paula thought it was in.
It's talking about how it's not all about Paula all the time. She's looking at it, looking at it.
You can start pulling for people when you got a 4-shot lead on the last green.
What a setting to not only win this championship, but to do it at a place like this.
Well, Roger, as usual, you've had the best seat in the house, and you know she was 2 shots up after 8 holes. In the last 10 holes, she's hit 9 greens in regulation, stiffed it several times, and it's just played great golf, except for number 12.
Masterful golf. It really has been. It's been just nothing but solid execution. Now, John, this putt, how many U's do you think will be in this cruise? This is just going to come cruising down there.
Yeah, the big old slice putt, huh?
Yeah.
These are the kinds of performances you just, you know, you dream about. Back nine, pulling off these kinds of shots on a course like this.
And yeah, this is going to be a great win for the LPGA Tour because they've got some momentum going forward. The economy's starting to turn around. They've got a really solid product. When you get players like Christy Kerr and Paula Creamer win your championships in the middle of the season, that is just an enormous, enormous boost.
Go in the hole!
Good speed. It's going to start sinking in that you just can't lose in the second, Roger. Until you get both hands on the trophy, sometimes you can't believe it, huh?
Don't start writing that speech. Grind through the finish and then just let it go.
Hey, it's over. But it's going to be emotional, I think. We're going to see there's some serious emotions in a minute.
Wendy Ward, again, a long time ago, was the closest to Paula when they began this final round, just 3 shots back, but began with a triple bogey at the first. Played +1 golf since then. 37-year-old veteran.
Well, this was an important putt for her. Top 10 return for next year. She's missed the last 2 championships.
Good putt. She's swinging very well.
But a bogey will give Ward a final round 76. There's Paula, who's made pink the dominant color out here, at least in her case on the LPGA Tour. It's always been her favorite color, and she's made it prominent in her golfing career big time. Used to golf with a pink ball, but
yeah, it came out on final rounds. But it is kind of cool going around and watching the gallery. So many little girls out dressed up like Paula Creamer.
Well, she's the Pink Panther. What do you expect?
That's right.
Amy Yang beginning the day 4 back, 71, finishes off with a bogey at 18. Wendy Ward for her bogey, which will clear the stage for the champion. About to be only the 5th different American to win a national championship in the last 16 years. We talked about the lack of an American presence in this championship. Julie Inkster, Hillary Lunke, Meg Mallon, and Christy Kerr. By the way, Meg Mallon announcing her retirement from competition this week. A great champion, a great person. We wish her all the best. She's played a lot of good years of golf.
What a final round she put up at the Orchards a few years ago in Massachusetts. Just an amazing final round.
Creamer for par at the 72nd hole. Paul Creamer has broken through with a U.S. Women's Open title. No tears of disappointment this year. Tears of joy. Again, talk about that big hug.
Okay. Mark.
There's her mom, Karen. And her dad, Paul.
Let's go down to Gary Koch.
Thank you very much. Here with a very jubilant, I'm assured, Paula Creamer. Paula, how does it feel to finally be able to say you're the U.S. Women's Open champion after being so close?
I don't know. It's crazy. Wow. I don't know what to say. It's been an amazing ride. Oakmont, I love you. All the fans, you know, they pulled me out there all around this whole golf course today. I couldn't have done it without them. And, you know, just thank you, God, and thank you, parents, for giving me the opportunity to be out here.
Have you ever played better golf under intense pressure?
No, I don't think so. I just stuck to my game plan on every hole. I really just tried to do what we planned, and I did, and I executed it, and it makes it so much sweeter.
The 12th hole, the third shot, you were in obvious pain. Was that a concern?
You know, my hand is in a lot of pain, but, you know, I've been just trying to go along with everything that I've been doing and not think about it. Be glad to have a nice rest, and I kept saying, you know, it'd be nice to rest with a U.S. Open championship next to your name, but I tried not to get too far ahead of myself.
Did the time away from the game help you?
Oh, without a doubt. I've matured over the last couple of months. I've been in... It was hard. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, and I prepared for this week, for those last 3 months, and you know, I know there's a lot of events in between that, but mentally I was just gunning for this week, and it just makes everything so much better. And Colin, my caddy, God, he's been one of my best friends, and I've been with him forever, and it just makes it so much better.
Well, congratulations, Paula. Very well deserved. Back to you, Dan.
Thank you, Gary. Could not be a sweeter way to break through in the U.S. Women's Open Championship at storied Oakmont. Paula Creamer is the winner by 4 over Pedersen and Na Yun Choi. Following today's telecast, go to NBCSports.com for the Lexus wrap-up show. Then Saturday on NBC, don't miss the celebrities tee it up in Lake Tahoe. It's the American Century Championship coming your way at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, it's your local news. Then tonight at 7, 6 Central, it's an all-new Dateline NBC, followed by Law & Order, Criminal Intent, and America's Got Talent. For our entire crew here, Johnny Miller, Dottie Pepper, Gary Koch, Roger Maltby, Kate Cockrell, and Jane Crafter. Dan Hicks saying so long from Oakmont Country Club, where we salute the latest U.S. Women's Open champion, Paula Creamer. Okay, thank you very much, Bill. I can't imagine a better way to break through for Paula Creamer than to do it on a golf course like this, Dottie and Johnny. Johnny, let's start with you. You've seen a lot of major championship golf through the years. A lot of people handle pressure, a lot of people not handle pressure. But what Creamer did on the back nine on a tough golf course today was admirable.
She took Oakmont to its knees, really, except for the 12th hole, just hitting the fairways. I mean, 24 of the last 28 fairways the last 2 rounds. That is crazy great. 3rd in driving accuracy, 8th in greens and regulation, and 3rd in putts. That's going to win you U.S. Open.
Dottie, put this championship in perspective, what it means to the tour, what it means to Paula Creamer.
Well, this tour has gotten 2 huge boosts over the last month with 2 Americans winning championships, and you've got really the face of American golf now as the U.S. Women's Open champion, and I just can't imagine them being in a better place after struggling last year, and they have really gained a foothold. They're in a wonderful position to go forward, and gosh, what an exciting second half of the season it's going to be for the tour. Paula Creamer is going to get a good rest, and it wouldn't surprise me to see her in 3 weeks walk away with a Women's British.
Johnny, a popular player, her popularity is going to soar even more. Clearly the most recognizable player on the tour, with the LPGA Tour losing its last top-ranked players in Annika Sorenstam and Lorena Ochoa to retirement.
Yeah, I mean, 9 wins at 23 is just Hall of Fame type of a start, and especially to sort of go through the hauntings that she's had in her near misses and majors. Never had won a major. Of course, she was 23, but I mean, to win the way she did is going to give her a boost of confidence and going to make her even tougher the next time she's got a chance at winning a major, which I'm sure is probably going to be pretty soon.
All the conversation, Bill, before this championship began of, boy, how high is this score going to be? Well, in the end, it's Paula Creamer, who's the only player under par, but a very respectable 3 under for the championship at a very, very tough golf course. Back to you.
what a wonderful championship. Oakmont has really provided us with an arena for the best women's golfers in the world. It takes a dedicated team of people all working together to put together a successful championship. And I want to recognize the leader at Oakmont Country Club, the people who made this week possible. The key component to the success of any championship is the golf course, and not just the setup, but the daily preparation, the recovery from the storm of Friday. All of that takes a lot of planning and reacting to Mother Nature. John Zimmers is the best in the business. So to John and his staff, you've done a wonderful job. Thank you. Now to the others behind the scenes, the group that work diligent every day on a daily basis, the general manager and his staff, Tom Wallace. The host professional, Bob Ford. And our championship director, Liz Lackaby. Today would not be possible without the support of Bill Griffin, president of Oakmont Country Club, and the membership here. Bill, would you come forward, please? This is a plaque signed by all of the players this week. Thank you very much. It takes a strong leader to pull together the many components of a championship, and your general chair has been outstanding. I want to thank Carol Semple Thompson and her team for an outstanding job this week.
Thank you, Barbara. As you can see, there are a lot of people who have made this championship possible. But first of all, I'd like to congratulate our champion, Paula. But I also want to thank Oakmont for this fantastic championship. The staff here is wonderful. The staff of the USGA, the staff of the Bruno event team. There are literally hundreds of people who worked on this. I also want to thank all the volunteers, 2,900 volunteers who came from 40 states. I'd like to thank our corporate supporters, and most of all, I'd like to thank all of you fans, spectators, for coming out on such a perfect day. Thank you very much.
Another key player of Carol's team is the hardest working vice chair in the country. Please recognize Bill Fallon. Bill? And I would be remiss if I didn't recognize our USGA team, Mike Davis and his team who worked diligently inside the ropes, and Tim Flaherty and his team who worked diligently outside of the ropes. I also want to thank our rules officials who've traveled from around the country to assist in this championship as well. And now my team, the USGA Women's Committee, is comprised of 14 women from across the country. We're responsible for conducting the U.S. Women's Open and 5 U.S. Women's Amateur Championships. Thank you, ladies. And it's now my pleasure to present the Low Amateur Medal to Jennifer Johnson. We've had a wonderful competition this week, and we have 2 individuals who tied for the silver medalist. Suzanne Pedersen, who is not here right now, and Na Young Choi. Na Young. And it's now my pleasure to present you with the United States Golf Association's 65th U.S. Women's Open champion, Paula Creamer.
Oh, goodness. Wow, this is, I don't even know what to say. You are beautiful. I really like you. My goodness, wow. Fans, thank you very much. I honestly, I couldn't do without you. These last couple of months sitting at home has been the hardest thing I've ever had to do, and you guys have been just unbelievable these last 3 weeks, and this week for my 4th in a row was just, it was incredible. So thank you guys. Oh, Oakmont, my goodness, this is by far one of the best golf courses I have ever played. It's in perfect shape. You guys did just an incredible job. After that storm, I don't know how you guys did it, but it was almost better than what it was before. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. You guys, thank you. Goodness, volunteers, wow. Every one of you out there was just as long hours as we had. I mean, 4:30 every morning that I've been up, and I can imagine what time you guys have been up. So I want to just thank you all for all your hard work and volunteering your time for this week. So. Colin, I know you're out there. My caddy. I know we waited a long time for this, so. Sorry. You know, you're one of my best friends. You're like my brother. I spend every minute with you out there, and I know we've had our ups and downs on the golf course, but you make me a better person and a better golfer, so thank you for all your hard work. And I'm really going to cry if I talk about my mom and dad, so I'm just going to say, Mom and Dad, I love you guys. Thank you for just fighting it out there with me. I know I've been a kind of a pain in the butt these last couple of months and years probably, but you know, I thank God every day for having the parents that I have and for giving me the opportunity to come out and live my dream, and I love you guys. I feel like I'm giving an Oscar, so I'll be wrap it up. Jay, I love you. Thank you once again, and to all the USGA members, all the fans, all you little girls out there, work hard. You know, you can be here too one day. So live your dream, all right? God bless. Thank you.
This concludes the prize ceremony. Thank you all again for coming out, and we look forward to seeing you next year at the Broadmoor Club in Colorado. Good evening and safe travels.